Hey everybody, welcome to another round of Canje Plays, and today we will be getting to all these people behind, especially the four ones behind is Zeke, Remy, Rook, and Nightingale are. So we're going to be getting into Middara. Hey Kate, what's going on? Welcome over here. So I'm a huge fan of anime. I have been forever. My first anime, Robotech. You're that just shows my age because a lot of people would say I don't know what that is, but that was my first anime, and since then I was hooked. That came on my afternoon cartoons after I got out of school, and from there I just kept on watching anime, not just the well-known ones like Naruto or Bleach or anything like that, but previous ones to come across as well as some well not known ones really great. So when someone said that Succubus Publishing made a board game for that is about like anime story, all that type of stuff, I was like, sign me up. The one thing that hey Mel Morrison, welcome, pull up a chair. The one thing that I and you should be aware of is that a lot of fan service is put into that stuff, and what fan service means is that you ever notice that whenever you watch movie and you see a guy who's in knight armor. He's in full knight armor, but you see a woman who's kind of like over sexualized, missing breastplate, not the breastplate, but the stomach plate to show her abs type of thing. That's fact because it's like, yeah, that's completely functional when somebody goes to war. And this game plays on those tropes a little bit because you can see Nightingale like in a short crop skirt. Same thing with Remy, but yet Zeke is fully covered, that type of thing. Hey Matt, hey Johnny's on the table, Tara, Tiny, welcome all. So I'm a huge fan of anime. I like it a lot. I want to give this game a shot. I have some upgrades in terms of how I'm gonna play because I don't want to keep track of everything on a sheet of paper, but I will in terms of my mass points and reading the lines that come in the book are pretty hard to. So I got myself a magnifying glass that is a red decoder, so I'll be using that to be able to read. I'm old. Alright, I'm not going to waste a lot of time with a lot of stuff, but let's go ahead and jump right into Middara and find out what's going on. I am fan, a massive fan of Foretell, and I always play them up as much as I can. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, skip to the notes. I don't want to hear all that. I'm not the guy for that. There are other channels who will give you the short cliff notes. I'm a huge fan, and because I like what Foreteller does, I like what it brings to the table. I will promote, and not because they're paying me, because they're not. It's because I believe in their product. And just to let you know, and we'll talk about all this, but just to let you know, the narrations will be done by Foreteller. The first one is about 6 minutes long, so go get yourself a coffee if you don't care, and then come back and I'll summarize it for you. But it's about 6 minutes long. We'll get through it. And yeah, Foreteller for Gloomhaven is great. But one thing to keep in mind, Foreteller didn't make this recording. Succubus Publishing made this recording. They then got under a contract with Foreteller for them to do the narration. But since Succubus Publishing already did the narrations, Foreteller just lifted it, shifted it, and put it inside their application. It's completely free. You can get it at any time. And it's fantastic. Foreteller, the app itself is free. Middara, initial ones are free. They did say that they may in the future re-record these ones, but it's a big maybe. But I believe Act 2 and Act 3 are going to be done by Foreteller. So just keep in mind, this one is not. I'm spoiled by Foreteller, and I think the voiceover actor who did this work did a great job. But Foreteller also adds a little bit more to it, so just know that it may sound a little mundane, but that's okay. It's okay. They did a great job. We're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be fun. Is it just me, or does the character in the bottom front left of the image look like Steven? It does look like him. It does look like him. Steven's made it into this game. All right. let's get some information, get down to the table, get to it. I also want to say thank you to my YouTube subscribers for getting me over 400 subs. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. The 400 sub celebration is going to be coming sometime this month, but it'll happen this month, and we'll go from there and have some fun. All right. Thank you, my Patreon members. I appreciate you too. There's no me, so I appreciate it. I have this on order. I hope it's as good as people say. It's good. It's for I've only played the first scenario to learn, so I kind of expect what's going to happen. But and usually I don't. I just go, let's learn it together, and I make as much mistakes as I anyone who started playing. But I wanted to get this one kind of right because anime theme, huge fan. Hey Brian, what's going? Ready for some fiddly goofy goodness? I don't use fiddly. I don't think any game's fiddly. I think every game has a different mechanic. Some people like it, some people hate it. They call it fiddly. I don't. I. Alright, so Middara, Unintentional Malum Act 1. It got an 8.9 on Board Game Geek, came out in 2019. Best played 4-player only because you have to control all 4. There is a variant that you can control 2, but I'm not playing that. I want the full experience and the awesomeness that is the anime of this. About 60 minutes playtime. We'll see about that. Ages 15 plus, but the community says 12, but it's got a nice weight on it of 3.88. Number 1 game of all time. It is. It is. Weight 3.88 out of 5 out of complexity. It's only because what hey Hans, what's going on? It's only because what was called about the fiddliness of it that it's 3.88 because there is a lot of things to keep track of. You have the exhaust ability, you have this jacket that lets you do this other thing, and then you have the sword that lets you do some movement. Over here, you can throw a dagger, but before you throw a dagger, you can dodge an attack and be able to counterattack. Building up your empower pool, building up your dice pool, all that stuff. There's a lot. There is a lot to it, and so and so now you have to keep track of it. If you're playing solo, you have to keep track of it all. So it can get a little bit overwhelming, but take a breath, keep it going, and go. Okay. Designed by Clayton Helm, Brooklyn Lundberg, and Brenna Moncourt and Ian or Ian Tate. So great job. Great group of artists that created some really great art. The art looks exquisite on this. And published by Succubus Publishing, which is, I believe, their company. So it's on sale, not on, sorry. It is for sale right now on Succubus Publishing site if you're interested after. All right. Fair warning before we go down to the I am learning how to paint. So I have not painted any of that you'll see today. However, easy. Don't press that X. Don't do it. Don't leave. However, my plan is as we play the campaign, I will be painting them because I'm learning. And I've just been doing like some Sarastro reading. I've been looking at some of Mel from Rob's Gaming Table, watching her painting videos and just kind of learning from that. So you'll actually see as we play through the campaign, characters start to gain color and depth, and then we'll have a story. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Hey Gavin, what's going on? All right, so let's get down to the table, and you are here with me to help me make corrections where I screw up. So let's do it. All right, the unpainted beginning of unintentional malum. We have Zeke, Rook, Nightingale, and Remy, and so I separated them this way because of how Foreteller's story goes with it. So we'll go. I got my magnifying glass. I've got the ridiculous story. This is the campaign book. All that. So I'd probably say 75% of it's text. And I got my line so that we can make sure that keep line of sight, because it's always line of sight. We got to make sure line of sight, and we'll talk about all that line of sight stuff so we can do that when we need to. Okay, this is their health. That's what these dice are, just to let you know what their health are. We'll talk about all that. Before we get into that, let's go to Foreteller. Remember, I am going to play the stuff with Foreteller. The first one is 6 minutes long. After that, it gets a little bit shorter. If they has large surface areas. So Canje will be developing the characters not only in abilities, equipment, but in fashion too. Yes. Yeah, hopefully they will be because they have a larger surface area, which um, so but we'll see. Like I said, as you keep watching, if you choose to, you'll see them take on different colors, hues, change as they're being painted, and probably by the end of the campaign, everything will be fully painted. But I just wanted to get into this game because I'm super excited about the game. Okay, all right. So we're gonna go to foreteller. It's gonna be 6 minutes. Just I'm saying it multiple times so people are like, oh my gosh, this is dragging. So if you want to go get some water, grab a beer, grab the 4th of July in the United States, grab a burger, and when you come back, we'll be ready to go. So 6 minutes. Let's go to foreteller. All right. So we go to Middara, chapter 1, and I will shut my mouth while you enjoy some 6 minutes of goodness.
Chapter 1. Before the Mast. Nightingale crept almost silently through the crowd, eyes fixed on her target. There were at least 100 of her fellow students here, thronging about and chatting excitedly in their teams of 4. Her victim wasn't watching anything but the cigarette in his fingers. He didn't stand a chance. Air rushed around Nightingale as she jumped, latching onto Zeke's back with both arms like a monkey around a tree. "Zeke!" Her voice came out somewhere between a squeal and a screech, loud enough that a few nearby students turned to stare. Her friend grunted and spluttered, the cigarette tumbling away from his mouth. "You trying to kill me?" Nightingale dropped to the ground behind him. "You don't need my help for that." She extinguished the still smoldering cigarette with a well-placed step. "You've been here as long as I have. 2 years away from Earth and you're still poisoning yourself." Zeke only grinned in response. "It also makes you smell terrible," someone said from behind them. They both turned, and Nightingale's eyes widened as she saw her sister Shayla standing there. Nightingale was usually thrilled to see her, but today was different. Today, Shayla was one of the proctors on the most important test of their new lives, the Magical Aptitude and Skill Test, or the MAST for short. "Makes me smell terrible?" Zeke scoffed. "See, here I was expecting something like, 'It's so good to see you, Zeke,' or maybe, 'How'd you do on your written exams?' You know, friend stuff." "No favoritism today," Shayla said. She sounded stern, but she was grinning at them as she flipped through a few pages on a worn clipboard. "Oh, but look at that. Lucky you. Looks like you two ended up together." "What a surprise." Nightingale smiled and shared a look with Zeke. "Consider that the only luck you get today," Shayla commented quietly. Nightingale looked around, wondering who their other partners would be. Of course, she and Zeke would be in a group together. She knew why Shayla didn't want to broadcast it, though, although students would be quick to pick up on any nepotism. While Nightingale knew each one of the students around them, the really short girl with multicolored eyes, the kid with the strange goat-like hooves instead of feet, none of them were actually friends. "Each team has 4 people," Zeke said. "Who are the other 2? "Rook, Lars, and Remy. Moretti." Shayla frowned at the clipboard for a moment, then shrugged and tucked it away under one arm. "You need me to point them out?" "Nah, we're good." Zeke rested one hand briefly on Nightingale's shoulder, pointing towards the single largest student in the room. "I see Rook there." "If you're not already, get acquainted. I've only got another few teams to assign before I explain everything." Shayla walked away, vanishing effortlessly into the crowd. "Guess it makes sense. Rook's gotta be the smartest student here, and the best fighter in our class," Zeke said. They started walking towards him, Nightingale leaving it to Zeke to clear a path for them. She lowered her voice so that the other students nearby couldn't hear her. "Sure, Rook makes sense. Remy, though? Isn't her dad some kind of mafioso? Who thought it was a good idea to pair someone like that with royalty? Couldn't make it look like favoritism, I'd bet, so they pick us a boat anchor to balance out our shared awesomeness." Zeke shrugged. "Every team has 4. So long as she doesn't slow us down, we'll be fine." It looked like the other half of their team was already assembled. Rook was easily doubled the size of Nightingale, with hands like hammers and a beard like a lion. "Hey, Zeke," Rook called. They met with a bone-cracking embrace. Remy stood just behind him, arms folded awkwardly in front of her. She looked up, smiling politely and extending a hand. "Hey, I guess we're together for the test, Princess Nightingale Arson, ma'am. Remy peered at Nightingale through impressive multicolored dreadlocks. Her massive owl-like wings folded behind her, making Remy's small frame look a little bigger. Just Nightingale, she corrected Remy, taking the offered hand. The title gets old quick. You're Remy, right? Yeah. Remy looked past her, up to the gigantic Rook, who was still talking with Zeke. I know I'm probably not the sort of teammate you were hoping for. Nightingale blushed, unable to meet her eyes. Had Remy somehow overheard her talking to Zeke on the way over? She didn't get a chance to respond, because at that moment her sister stepped up onto a raised platform at the edge of the hall and started shouting, All right! Listen up, everyone! They did. Shayla smiled. Welcome to the Magical Aptitude and Skill Test. If any of you have doubts about your ability to complete the mast, the door's right there. She gestured behind them all, towards the towering double doors that led into the castle's main hall. A few stern teachers stood there, their armor polished and their weapons sharp. You will be required to go through the Acerbis, the Academy's training dungeon. The Acerbis is the real deal. Don't think the force fields of the Bellicose cubes make up for stupid mistakes, because they don't. These monsters will kill you if you're not careful. There were a few seconds of silence. Nobody left, and Shayla's expression grew more intense. All right. We're going to walk through the doors behind the armory. Each of you is entitled to 1 pack of supplies. Choose wisely. If you get halfway through the test before you realize you didn't bring something important, too bad. She paused, waiting for her statement to sink in. If you have any last questions, ask either me or another proctor before you get into the dungeon. Once the test starts, you'll only get my help if things go very wrong. She raised her voice, glancing once around the room. For the sake of your grades, you do not want our help. There were no questions. Shayla's turned, hopping off the edge of the platform. Please follow me to the armory.
Alrighty. So, ooh, I saw some really good stuff in there that was giving me so much. You didn't like my voice acting, Tiny? Or my miming, my pantomiming? We just finished. So let's see. Yeah, in terms of the painting minis one, there, I believe that was Yogi that was saying, paint a different game before you paint this one. Let's jump in. I'm actually gonna paint cave sickles first because they're the easiest. They're just retone, so I can paint those and see how I'm doing, and then I'm gonna move on to the characters. So I'll my plan is to do one grouping of monsters, one character, just keep alternating until I get them all done. So it ought to be good. Let's see what else we have. What else? Something else. I think that was it. Oh, Tiny was saying you really enjoyed the recordings. But like they're good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not good. They're really good. The recordings are fantastic. I think for me, Foreteller, like with the background audio playing, like there's some background music, it added to the depth, and it wasn't there for this one. But the recording's good, and I'm happy. All right, so we have our characters, and I'm going to be using some, like I said, some upgraded stuff. So let me hide this for a second, and then we'll talk. Okay, so we've got and their sleeve because I bought the sleeves with it because I'm an all-in type of guy. So we've got Nightingale Arson. So this is her upgrade. Her starter health is 12 health, 9 defense, and 6 movement. So defense, I want y'all to think of defense for people who play D&D. Like I said, anime and nerd stuff. That's me. For people who play D&D, I want you to think of defense as an AC. 9 is her base AC or armor class. She has an ability that says she can use it once per encounter to all other allies gain 1 SP, and Nightingale gains 2 SP. She has conviction dice, cast dice, and all that other good stuff. She starts off with Gore Shot, which is her special ability, her base called Curel. So level 1. So she starts off with Gore Shot. I can exhaust the cast spell, but it only deals 2 damage, but I can inflict moves to myself to add 2 more damage to it, so I can boost the damage. So she has that. She's got a long sword, which has a ridiculous amount of abilities. This. And the long sword could be hold. It can be held, one-handed, one-handed, which you can see the one hand on there, or two-handed to do some different stuff. But she's holding it one hand. She's got a magic talisman for spell casting. There's some of that in the later chapter audios. The second set, chapter 4 to 5, if I remember correctly. But yes, not a fully immersive audio. Yeah, and it's still good. I don't want anyone to think the audio isn't good. It's really good. So she got that. Then she starts getting armor. She's got cores, which we'll get into, and she can hold 3 consumables. So she's got 2. She's got a vitality juice box. Why not? That heals her for 3, and an MF fortitude. You all know what that means. No, we don't. Which gives her 1 SP, but it's a discard. So consumables you use, you get rid of. Everything cores you use, you can exhaust, but it also buffs you. That's her. She starts off with 3 points. I'm using these lovely cubes from Spire's End. I'm using these cubes from Spire's End to track those because I don't like using plus these things to let you do it. So I'm gonna be using cubes to track their SP. Then we go to Zeke. Zeke is our rogue. He is good, kill type of guy. So Zeke is Nimble Fighter as a passive. Once per turn, Zeke may re-roll his dodge die. He can roll. One of the dungeon crawl grades. Only complaints is they did horrible job spelling grammar. Yeah. Yeah, let's hope they fix that in 1.1. Or are you saying that happened for 1.1? So 12 base health, 9 AC. That's how I remember it. I just call it AC. And 6 movement, and then his skill check here. He can re-roll a dodge die, which is great. And he is all about evasion. That's his jam. So, he has 2 of these short swords. If you exhaust it, you move 1 additional space. If that combo light, so if you notice this keyword up here at the top, it says light. He has 2 short swords, so one of them has light. So it says combo with another light. I can exhaust to reroll 1 of my combat dice, and I turn both of them from yellow dice. Purple dice into white dice, and then we get some added bonus stuff. So if you've ever played a game like Imperial Assault, that's what that is, and we'll show the dice when we play. He's got a BA leather jacket. Kid show, maybe. No, he's got a BA leather jacket that boosts him a little bit. It actually gives him some armor. If you see at the top, boosts its health. And when making dodge rolls, I can exhaust this to reroll dodge. He also has a passive ability on his BA jacket. hey, I'm enhancing the experience. Bad. So, as a passive, reduce physical damage dealt to you from attacks by 2 as a passive. So I get to reduce it, and I get to reduce it by 2 because of the passive, and I get 1 armor, so I reduce it by 3. Basically, what that means. So if Zeke gets hit, he's taking 3 less damage. His core has an interesting passive ability, and no, Canje Middara is a classless system, which is the best part of the game. For people who don't know the game, they think it's typical D&D based character. Oh, no. I'm not saying that it's let me explain. But it's a classless system. Tiny is exactly right. You can build these characters any way you want. You can build them any way you want. You can make Rook into a rogue if you want, so he'll be like the most buff rogue you've ever seen in your life. You can make Remy into a archer if you want. It doesn't matter. It is a classless system. When I say it's kind of like the rogue of the group, they have everything has like a base that they start with, and then you could break that base apart and shift. If you notice, Zeke is very nimble. He's very nimble. He dodges, he rolls. He has these attacks. He doesn't have to stay that way. He can move off and do something completely different. But he has a base beginning. And that base beginning is steeped in kind of the roguish traditions of evasion and attack. And then from there you can say, I don't want him to do that, I want him to do something else, and you can. So but it is a classless system because you can make them whatever you want. I can make them into anything. It doesn't even have to be a pure class, right? I can make them into anything I want, but they start off as something. Is that and that's what I was getting at. If that makes sense. If that makes at the end of an encounter, if you have this core equipped since the beginning of the encounter, gain a single consumable item and conviction upgrades. So this upgrades my conviction dice to white instead of purple. I've got some throwing stars, and his this is Marshall, which is Blade Works Exhaust. If you have two one-handed weapons equipped, make an attack. So basically I can exhaust this, so I can attack and then use that to attack again. So this is the thing where I'm talking about is the humble beginnings of what he looks like he can be easily molded into because he's got the attacks, he's got the dodge. Good. We've got Remy Moretti. So this is Remy. And Remy has Shady Training. Move. I can exhaust that to move one space in any direction, including diagonally. Cool. And she also has this too. Avian Flight. Make a move. Remy has flight. So basically she has wings. Let's use them, right? So she can move about however she wants. Remy has flight for the duration of this movement. This ability may only be used if Remy has less damage than half of her total HP. I sleeved every card save for uh, these because they didn't fit my card sleeves. So I need to go on Board Game Geek sleeving apparatus, find out what size sleeves those are, and then so. But everything else is sleeved, the mini ones and all, and these are all right. So base health is the same, 1296, and she has conviction, and these are her stats. So she can fly. She can fly. So as long as she's not hurt. She's got an occult shirt, which is the same as Nightingale's, it's just a different type. So she can exhaust it to dodge. If you successfully dodge, counterattack. It does not boost her shielding, but it does boost her health and her movement. So her movement actually goes to 7. Great. She's got this lovely core, which you can get cores from everyone else. And this core says if I exhaust this core, I counter. And you see with that core, I get my defense goes up. So her defense is 10. Now she's got 2 throwing knives, just like Zeke, and Vitality Juice Box that helps heal her up, which is good. Then we finally go to Rook. Oh, I didn't do her ability. Sorry. They're Terracized. They're Terracized? No way. This to me is Terracized. This is a Terracized card because these are Terracized sleeves. This is a Terracized. These are vastly smaller. So this isn't a Terracized one. These are. They're and then these are just I actually had some leftover sleeves from Fantasy Flight Games. So they're tiny sleeves and these fit perfectly. Hammer Helm is her ability. As a passive, I add to my damage, and I can exhaust this when making an attack if you have a two-handed weapon, which he does. You may reroll any dice in your combat. Cool. Because this is her two-handed weapon. So roll 2 whites, two-handed weapon, melee weapon, keywords axe and more axe. Exhaust. When determining the damage of an attack, this weapon gains book, his book is life, plus physical damage until the attack is resolved. Cool. So she's gonna do some nasty damage. Super strong. Have those size bloom. And then we go to Rook Mars. This is Rook. Rook has grand physique. He has a little. So I'm curious about Rook and this little creature behind him, but we'll see what that means as we go through the story. Oh, cool. Thanks, Nakabra. I'll definitely check it out. Also, hi. Welcome. So, Grand Physique is a passive. Rook's unmodified maximum health is 14, which is what you see here. Rook may equip an additional consumable, so he holds 4 instead of 3. And Rook ignores the negative to movement from the first instance of his equipped heavy. So basically, when you're heavy, your movement would go down to, like his is at 6, it would be down to 5. But this is 1.1. 1.0 had him only moving at 5. Let's go to the weapon to show you how 1.1 fixed that problem. 1.1 says his weapon is a blunt hammer, and he has 2 of them. But notice that combo. Read the combo. Gain +1 shield and heavy. This ability does not stack with another Warhammer. So it doesn't stack with another Warhammer, which means I gain +1 shielding. So my my armor's 3 because of my cuirass, and I'll show you that in a second. But I gain the heavy ability, and what that means is his passive ability kicks in that says you ignore the movement hindrance of a heavy thing. So these 2 Warhammers blend together that don't stop his movement. It doesn't. He has heavy, but he doesn't care because the guy's been working out. Yeah, yeah. So he has a cuirass. It gives him some armor, so he's got +3, which we'll talk about that when fighting comes. His health goes up, and he has per encounter. When you are dealt damage from an attack, ignore all physical damage dealt to you. So one time when he gets hit, and if it's heavy, we can not deal. He's got some. His future is so bright. He's got to wear shade. He's got a deflection core. His conviction upgrades from purple to white. And if you flip this card when making a conviction check, pass it. Just don't even just don't. Just pass it. He's got a hyper energy potion that uh, can heal people in a radius, so he's kind of like the healer right now, quote unquote. And once again, I don't want people to think that they're no, he is the healer of the class. He's not. It's a classless system, just like Tiny said. It's just they have base. So the healing energy, people in my SOI or sphere of influence, which is a 4x4 grid. I can heal for 3 and I gain an SP, or I can remove an effect from an ally in my sphere of. Okay, he has mend once again to go to the healing potential. Once per encounter, gain 2 heal tokens, and then as a passive, you can spend them to heal. When these tokens are spent, heal an ally other than yourself and gain an SP. So that's cool. Okay, these are their health worked out from all this stuff. So basically, so hers starts off with 12, right? She's like, okay, well, 12 health, but she has this occult shirt that gives her +3, so it actually goes up to 15. That's why that's there. Nightingale has 12 health. She gets 2 from the defensive core that she has, and 3 from her occult shirt, which gives her 15 health. No, sorry, 18 health. God. Nope, 17 health. I can do math. Zeke has 12 health plus 4 for the BA leather jacket, so 16 health. And Rook has a base 14. Rook's unmodified max is 14, so it's 14 health, right? Plus 2 for the craft. Put some ads. All right, so I'll be tracking their health that way. This is combat stuff. We've equipped up 1 more minute of Foreteller. The next one that we're going to go now is just going to be 1 more minute, and then we are getting into the good stuff. We're getting into the good stuff. So, oh, sorry, 3 more minutes. It's 3 minutes, so go get water. Go get water. if you don't want to hear the audio, I'm going to be playing everything Foreteller's got to offer because I love Foreteller. All right, so 3 minutes. Let's do it.
The armory was well stocked, and none of them would go into the dungeon wanting. After selecting their gear, they made their way to an old freight lift that was operated with pulleys and ropes. There was only enough room on the lift for the four of them, and no pesky safety features like rails. A burly proctor Nightingale recognized as an archery instructor stood just behind the lift. "Someone keep a hand on the rope at all times," he warned. "If you let go, the fall will kill you." "Got it," Rook answered. He was the first to climb aboard, taking hold of the control rope with one gigantic fist. The rest of them followed him aboard, and they started down. "This is going to be awesome!" Nightingale looked down at the firefly lights of the glowstones illuminating the carved stone patterns of the dungeon below. "Even if it's a trial dungeon, it's about time we get out of the classroom." Zeke nodded. "I just can't wait to graduate. We're so close to becoming real citizens. No more lectures, no more exams." Remy shuffled near the edge of the lift, her wings twitching a little in the slight breeze. "Yeah," she said, her voice barely a squeak in the dark. Shayless was waiting at the bottom of the lift, in a cavernous room cut from rough stone. Several passages opened away in all directions. Down some of the tunnels, lights were trailing away, and voices were echoing as groups set out on their separate paths. "You ready, little sis?" Shayless gestured down a dark hallway. "That one's yours." "I'm ready." Nightingale drew her weapon and raised it enthusiastically. "Nothing down there stands a chance." "I'm sure it doesn't." Shayless smiled and reached out, wrapping one arm around Nightingale in a quick hug. Shayless turned, meeting each of their eyes slowly. "Take care of each other. Your team shares one grade, so your citizenship depends on it." With a nod, she tugged on the rope, and at once the rickety elevator started to rise. "Good luck." Zeke waved at her as she disappeared. He turned and headed towards the indicated pathway. His expression wilted as he got his first look at what waited for them. Damp stone, thick cobwebs, and the smell of decay. "Let's get this over with." They left the first room behind, the sound of squeaking metal pulleys fading into the distance. The stone was thick here, too thick to hear what any of the other groups might be doing. Soon enough, they were left with nothing but their own footsteps and the light of their glowstones. They didn't have far to go before they reached the first of the bellicose cubes. It was a small relic, only about a foot across, and set into the stone wall of the cavern. Intricate carvings of Kruer magic pulsed with red lights as they neared the basin at the front. "I always hate using these things, though I guess they've kept me safe in a couple of sparring matches." Remy frowned down at the cube as she approached it. "It's better than getting killed," Rook stated. "I bet the proctors put them here so that they have time to intervene if we're defeated by monsters, or if we suffer an otherwise fatal fall. Just make sure to attune yourself with it. Without putting in your blood, it won't protect you." "Attuned or not, fighting will still hurt," Zeke added. "I broke an arm while learning to use a sword. Guy cheap-shotted me." Rook nodded in agreement. "Zeke's right. I've broken other students' arms while learning to use a sword." He smiled at Zeke and then got serious. "Seriously, though, the cube will let us survive very serious wounds, but it doesn't make us invulnerable. Don't be an idiot." Nightingale winced as she cut her hand along the blade of her weapon, just deep enough that a few drops of blood welled up in her palm. A few drops fell from her pale fingers into the bowl. One by one they struck and boiled away, and the glow of the cube grew much brighter. For just a moment, she felt as though all the blood in her body was being tugged towards the cube. The strange sensation passed, and she got out of the way. They all took their turns before they could finally advance into the encroaching gloom.
All right. All right. So that is the intro, and we are ready to get started. Okay. So, Takabra, I want to know more about that because I would love to get stuff that like helps enhance the play by upgrading some of the components, and that is a really great idea. So once you build it out, like, can you just send a screenshot or post it in the Discord so I can see it? Because I may like beg you for the STLs and print them out myself as well. But that is a really cool idea. That's a really cool idea. Okay. All right. So we are at the mast. We are ready to play. We're down here. We set up the board. While this is north. That way. That way's north. Because of table space, and I do have a larger table and sunshine coming in, but because of table space, I've turned it long way, so it's coming down this way. So they're coming through the cave, but this is north. So keep your orientation. I know a lot of people say, nope, you need to play it. Well, this is how I'm playing. Okay, so this is the mast. Day one, underground. The damp, cold air of the cave chills you to the bone. As your eyes adjust to the dark, you see the faint outline of a large rock blocking the path up ahead. It looks as if a strong push could send the boulder careening into the pits on either side of it. In any case, it looks like it's the only way forward. All right. So we all start here. We've got unpainted Nightingale, soon to be painted, unpainted Zeke because they were friends, right? We've got Rook and Remy that are there, so they were the ones that came down together. So that's kind of where I started their positioning. We've got these tiles here that you see that are green with lovely sunlight. You think, oh, thanks. We have green. The green basically means it takes one to move in, but it takes two to move out. So think of it as difficult terrain. Red, anything bordered in red, you can't really see around, right? You can't see through because that's block space. And white is dangerous. It means that fall down there, you're gonna have a bad time. This is a cool thing I want to show you as well before we get started. I found on Board Game Geek, I found this, which is a lovely, lovely sheet of everything's status and its explanation, and it's being updated, so it's fantastic. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you see version 1.2, which is based on Middara rulebook 1.06. Some stuff have changed, but they are going to be updating this reference as it goes. What's really cool is that you see the magic attack stuff and the casting rules that go along there. You see building out the loot deck, what that looks like. The conviction dice, kind of what they mean and how, to example, to use them. And then you've got status. This is the important part with what I was just talking about. Red lines blocks all line of sight, not considers a space or figures can move through. Dangerous, defeats any figure that end their turn in, end movement in, or leaves a dangerous space. May replace all non-obstructing terrain. So that's dangerous space that's auto-defeated. This is pretty cool stuff. It gives you some really good upgrades. Here's these standard abilities. How much SP it costs for you to do stuff. All this stuff is on this dock. Like I said, it's running off of a little bit rules before the 1.1, but I think 1.06 was close to before 1.1 came out, so it should be really close to what 1.1 rules are. But it looks really, really great for what you have. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to say I'll be referencing this sheet and just kind of what these different terrains mean and how to use them and all that. Here's the green terrain. Attacks made through and into hindered gets -1 to attack rolls. Cause 2 movement to leave the terrain because it's hindering terrain they call it, but think of it as difficult terrain. Okay, cool. We set up our terrain. We've got our win conditions, which is blocked off. This is a movable block, so we got to move there. Test strength, and whoever wins gets it, which we'll talk about that when we get there. This is the mast, so we're graded for what we do, and we're under a time. We got to get through it. There's a blue loot token that has something in it that I don't know what it is because I never got there. And then blue totem, something happens, and the red totem, something happens. Basically, what happens is if there is line of sight through the center, probably right here, yeah, probably like right here and here. Once you get there, it gets there because here you're going into that block that's blocking the way, and up here you get that tip of that red there, and there can't be anything obstructing line of sight. So, what we do to get started is round one, fight. We grab the initiative cards for all of our characters and we shuffle them up. Yeah, the directional indicator is pretty cool. You shuffle them all up, and you. Okay, shuffle them all up, and then from there, you deal them out in a line, and that in a line. That is, and that's going to be what it is. So I'm going to deal them over here, top to bottom, to say who's what. So first up, Pete. Second, Rook. Third, Remy. Fourth will be Knight. Okay, and bosses fall into this chain as well. So I got a space for them to do all that. I'm just doing it over here to get started because nothing happens right now. So Zeke's gonna go first. It costs one SP or skill point to move. So I'm gonna move that. And Zeke's not the one that gets the extra movement. Remy. So Zeke's gonna move one, and you can't move diagonally. You have to move orthogonally. So Zeke's gonna move one, two, three, four, five. Actually, four, five, six. And he's gonna stand there in the sun, getting sunlight. I like the initiative mechanic very hands and very uh, which irritates me when Nemesis goes twice in a row. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. So we're able to draw a line through the middle of where they are. My hand's too shake, so apologize. So that triggers first. Pull out my handy dandy magnifying red decoder glass for the blue totem, and it says, as you approach the boulder in your path, a scurrying sound echoes from the other side of the chasm. Spawn two cave sickles on any normal terrain space adjacent to the blue totem. Okay, so we grab cave sickle card, which is this one. And there's a lot going on in this card, but it's actually really easy to manage. It's an if then system, or if then else, if then else. So for programmers out there, it's a switch for people who program properly, but for everyone else, it's an if else statement basically, and hive mind that goes through. They do have passives. They are immune to poison, and movement points cost is not increased. Basically, terrain doesn't slow them down from skittering everywhere. Hive mind, the more they're together, the stronger they are. So, and they are a swarm. And what swarm means is you can't gain loot until you kill all of that swarm. They've got 6 health, 8 defense. They move 6 speed. They have 0 armor, and they roll 2 white dice as combat dice. They have a conviction dice as well too, if they're trying to stop you from casting spells on them. So they pop out, and I'll just hold them here for a second because when I move the book, that's where they're going to sit. And they have lovely colors like red with a red base, purple with purple base, and orange. This is the first swarm, but instead of spawn 2 next to the totem, so 1 here and 1 here. Then it says, I only know what's coming because I learned through the scenario. Your heart sinks as you hear skittering coming from behind you as well. You whirl around and find yourself facing 2 more cave sickles. Spawn 2 cave sickles on any unoccupied normal terrain space on the south side of UM11. This is UM11. So notice, I don't know if you recall. Yeah, fair enough. So I don't know if you recall, if you look up here, the swarm consists of 1, 2, 3, but we've got 4. Fear not. There's another one that has 4, 5, 6. So we have 2 swarms that are there. All I think of is cool. So where? Oh, here. These 2. So they're gonna spawn anywhere in the south. Remember, this is north, so they spawn anywhere in the south. Well, I'm gonna put this one here by Zeke, and this one here by Ninetail. And that's where they spawn. When they spawn, this is the difference between 1.0 and 1.1. In 1.0, what you would do is you would roll the black die, and you would see, depending on number of shields they have, is how far away from your turn order they are. So Zeke's going first. If I roll the die and I got 1 shield, it would be Zeke, 1 shield, so they go next. If it has, sorry, they would go after Rook. If it had 2 shields, it would be after Remy. 3 shields, it would be after Nightingale. That's how 1.0 works. In 1.1, they all immediately go after C. Immediately. So there's no rolling, none of that good stuff. This is the way that life goes from here. So they would go, so this is their eternal. And that's how they pop out. I'll close this book for a sec. Okay. Put these out. Right out. Okay, so Roxicles. So, this is where they pop up, but my turn's not over. That was just my movement to make it happen that triggered this blue totem. Now it's still my turn. I'm not done yet. Well, well, Zeke is going to use, and it costs two SP to attack, as you saw on that sheet that we lovely had over here. Attack costs 2 SP, attack target figure with equipped weapon and combat dice. So that's the 3 that he has. So he's going to be spending these 2 as well. And fight. But let's build our dice pool, because as fights go, once again, this lovely sheet will help you with that if you need to know the order of how to build this out. First, it says combat, making an attack. Choose a target you're going to attack. He's attacking that cave sickle. Build your combat dice based on what's there. Empower if you're going to, and empower means that you can add more damage, but you can also miss the attack if you're not careful. Check if the target's dodge, and then roll for hit, and then determine damage. So let's take this in order. So we're talking about choosing our target. He's choosing this case. Building his attack. Well, he's got 2 purples, but because of combo light, they turn into 2 white. And the reason why does that matter? Because you get more like purples are the lowest value, and whites are the second lowest. So he just upgrades his dice a little bit. So he has 2 because he hit with both hands. So 1, 2, always. And I believe one of someone who taught did this. They were like, if you want to think about how they hit, it's like, all right. What else does he add to it? While I'm dropping dice. Let's see. He's all about dodging, so nothing else. These are his combat dice. He could, if he had an extra SP, he could empower the dice, which adds this black die. And what this black die does is it lets you do damage buffs, but it also has this miss right here. If you roll the skull, you miss. So this is what he's rolling with. So he's going to make his attack. He rolled a 5, 6, 7. Not cool. Not cool at all. Their defense is 8, so that would be a miss. Instead, let's see if he can reroll. Yep. He is going to exhaust one of his short swords to reroll one of his combat die. I'm going to reroll this 2. If not yet, mitigation. Mitigation is the thing. There we go. So we've got a 4. So we've got 9. So he hits for 9. So their defense, and I'm going to use the Middara words, and then I'm going to use the D&D words that correspond for people who play D&D and are learning Middara. Their defense / AC is 8. I rolled a 9. So I've beaten their AC. And what you do in Middara, you say 8 minus 9, or sorry, that's -1. 9, the higher number minus 8. So 9 minus 8 equals 1. That's how much damage you do to them. So whatever the overage is of the AC is how much damage. On top of that, you see these symbols like I got 2 shields in the book? Well, we look on our sword and it says 2 shields equals plus 2 damage. So now we add to that, making it from 1 to 3 damage. So we've done 3 damage to the cave. Cave sickle number 4. It has 6 health. Hey, math is hard. So we've attacked, and we're like, oh, we haven't killed it yet. Oh no, whatever will we do? Well, I don't like that thing being alive. So I am going to use blade work, and I'm going to exhaust blade work. And it says if you have two one-handed weapons equipped, which I do, make an attack. So I'm going to exhaust blade work and attack again. This is the reason why I think, Tiny, if you agree with me, but this is the reason why this game is so good. So much things you do, like mitigation is key. Your fate does not end with a die roll. I rolled a 5 and a 5, which is 10. So I rolled a 10. Their defense is an 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. And then I have 2 shields, which gives me plus 2 damage, which is 4, which kills the cave sickle. So it died. So the cave sickle dies. And because this was the last cave sickle in this swarm, I think it's the ability. The ability is exhausted. No, the weapon was exhausted to re-roll a die. The ability was exhausted. I exhausted the ability. This was to re-roll a die for my combo set. Yes, yes, Sakabra. For the next one, you can use weapons. That is correct. So I've killed the purple one, which was part of. Sorry, purple. God, I've killed the teal one, which was part of this swarm. So this swarm's been defeated. So that swarm is removed, and because that swarm was defeated, I get to draw loot. Loot, loot. Yeah, you still get to use the weapon. It's just the ability doesn't come. So I get to use loot. Okay, so I get to draw the top card of loot, which is yes, yes, Lakabra, you can. The ability to re-roll dice is exhausted. The weapon itself is still completely usable. I just can't re-roll a die with it. But the finesse and all that still work. Alright, I got 9 gold. So Zeke got 9 gold from that kill. Zeke has spent all his XP. He's used his ability. He's done everything that he can do. Everything. So that ends his turn. So then we go to. So we flip over his card to say he's done. He's done. He's done his job. Okay, next up is the cave sickle. Well, this one died, so we pull this out of turn order. Okay, hold on. Alright, so the cave sickles go, and we take them in order from 1, 2, and 3. Well, movement doesn't stop if you're friendly. So they can move through friendlies without an issue. So the cave sickles, let's take a look at its if else state right here. If is there an opponent adjacent to you? No. Else if is there an opponent within range 4? Nope. Else can it move and attack an opponent within range 4? Move to be up to a range 4, its movement is 6, and then make an attack against it. So this red one, it has 6 movement. It's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? But it's going over the string. It's like it's trying to hop and make it. Well, when it tries to do that, it's got to roll this die. And if it rolls this, it falls into the pit and dies. So I'm hoping for bad rolls. So it's going to try to move, and let's roll and see if it falls into the pit. Nope, it does not. It makes it. So it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And basically, what it does, they can't move diagonally. They can only move orthogonally. And that jump happens. So if I had rolled a skull, it would have died by falling into the pit, like trying to jump and falling short. Like you see those meme videos of the cats trying to jump and failing. It would have been that. But it gets within range of Zeke, and it says, move to be up to range 4 of the nearest opponent. Well, if it came here, it couldn't see the opponent because of this wall, so it actually had to move there to get. It says then make a ranged attack 4. Okay, so let's check some stuff. So it's going for the cave sickles combat dice and defense change depending on how many other casicles are there in its sphere of influence. A sphere of influence is basically a 4x4 grid from where it is. So it's one, two, sorry, one, two, three, four. If I read that right. I always get confused if one is centered on them or not, or sphere of influence. And this thing has a table of contents, which I love so much. 45. People who know, you can post in the chat. I just want to make sure I do it right. This is both a type of range and a type of so has a base of 4, but the range can be adjusted by items' abilities. When using SOI, determine the line of sight, elevation, all that other good stuff. But it doesn't show. I know it's a 4x4, but I'm trying to think like if it's 1, then 2, 3, 4, or if it's 1, 2, 4. It's a large area of influence. So it can see this one. And because it can see that one, I'm just going to play it that way, that it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it can see this. So if it can see that one, it upgrades its dice from two white to a white and an orange. So it upgrades to that. And it's going to make a ranged attack 4 against that OA. And I believe that when it says range attack 4, that's the number that's going to be added onto it, onto the attack. Range. And once again, like I said, we're all playing together, so if you know, you can answer, unless you want me digging through the book all day. Range. I believe you're supposed to add the number 4, so it's 4 plus whatever it rolls. No, that is that's the distance. Thank you. Thank you, Beal. Thank you so much. Alright, so it's the distance of range 4. Sorry, attack, not range 4, attack 4. Attack is what I'm looking for, because it says attack 4. Sorry, Beal, I misspoke. It's attack 4. 40. Okay. Make an attack. Spend symbols. Determine if it hits. Yeah. It adds to the hit. It adds to the hit. Okay, so let's roll them up. Let's see if we get hit. I roll a 6 and a 4. So I have a 9, 10. Cool. Making a dodge reroll. Passive. Reduce physical damage dealt to you by 2. Cool. Okay. Because I think. Sure. Yep, no problem. So it says, can it move and attack an opponent within range 4? So then it move to be up to a range 4 from the nearest enemy, then make a 4 attack. That symbol. And there's some that add to the attack. There's some that says, so this is where I got a little confused. Like I said, it's a lot to keep track of. It is. This is the part where people would say fiddly, but it's just a lot to keep track of. And I already forgot off the top of my head. It says, make an attack action using the combat dice equipped. Weapons with the icon for combat. So, where does it say attack? That is a ranged attack of range 4. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. So, where was I? So he rolled a 10. No monsters add things to the attack unless it specifically says plus X. Keep me honest. So he rolled a 10. My defense is a 9 plus 1, 10. So yeah, he met my AC. However, he met it, which means he can add these shields because on him shields deal 2 damage. So he got 2 shields, so it's 1, 2. However, my passive ability says reduce physical damage dealt to you from melee attacks, not range. Darn it. So I'm taking 2 damage. Yep. So I get hit for 2 damage. So I go down to 14. I don't have any dice to dodge. I don't have any ability. No, I did. Oh, +1. Oops. Thank you. He has a shield on this, and I talked about it when we first started playing. I'm gonna make mistakes, and it's okay. It's all right. The leather coat has an armor of 1. You're not making it hard, Buell. You are helping me. So, up that top is an armor of 1. So I got hit for 2. His armor blocks 1, so I only take 1 damage instead of 2, and that's all I take from him. So, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, then we go to Purple Cave Sickle's turn. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3. So it's got to roll to see if it falls. You're not making it difficult. You are helping me out. And it makes a jump, because of course I wouldn't roll bad. It'll be move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's at range 4, where it needs to be. And then it's going to make an attack against Zeke. Oh, you don't want me making it harder for myself? That's true. That's true. Ooh. 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 Ah. That's a 14. That's a 14 ranged attack. That gets through. Yeah. That gets through. So 14 and 10 is 4. Then with the shields, 5, 6, 7. See how bad damage you get? So 7. My jacket reduces damage by 1. So I'm taking 6 damage from that shot. 6. That's why Buell was saying don't make it harder for yourself. I just took 6 damage from that. Oof. Okay. Then we go to this guy who now he's got some stuff where he can run, and he's gonna turn on Nightingale. Didn't even her turn yet. Is there an opponent adjacent? Oh yes. Make a melee attack against the opponent. But there's not. If we go 1, 2, 3, 4, they're not around, so he's gonna be rolling 2 whites. Make an attack against the opponent with the most damage. Oh, you have to move. They're not adjacent. Is there an opponent adjacent? Yep. Okay, he's gonna attack her. Ah! I rolled a 4 and a 3, which her defense is a 9 plus 1, 10. Yeah. Yet. Anka. No. So he doesn't hit at all. He missed. He whiffed. If he did hit, he would have a follow-up attack. And if that hit, he would have another follow-up attack. So he would have a chance to hit me 3 times, but he missed. So let's not worry about that problem. Okay, that ends the Cave Sickle turn. Flip that over. Then we go to Rook's turn. Well, Rook doesn't like that at all. 1, 3. Well, can't get close enough. Rook is going to use Mend. He's going to trigger Mend. And Mend basically says once per encounter, we'll put exhaust on it. Gain 2 dots to heal people. Cool. So he's going to do that. What he do? One case, but Nightingale could probably kill that one. Remy needs to get over and help kill the other one. So let's. Well, if he moves, he actually, if he moves, get can heal Z with the heavy energy HP potion. Uh, you one stuck here and can't get out until he spends two. He can spend an extra one, but he won't be able to attack. Oof. So this is where like the analysis comes in with how you want to move. What's the best option? Rook cannot get the other two cave sickles to fight them. Rook can get to one cave sickle, and Remy can't get to the other ones because I have no ranged fighters except for Zeke who can throw throwing them. Remy can throw throwing. So let's see how this works out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that costs 1. Then he's going to spend the other 2 to attack, build his dice pool. He's got 2 whites for his Warhammer. And he's not going to empower anything. He's just going to start a slamming. So let's do it. They have that. So we've got 11. On that cave sickles 8. So that's 3 difference. 3 difference plus 2, 4, 5 plus a star, which is 1 physical damage 6. So 1 slash destroys the cave. Good job. When the token takes back, when the tokens are spent to heal an ally other than yourself, gain 1. But it doesn't say end has a range. So end doesn't have a range. End does not have a range. I'm not sure. Okay, so let us now. Let's see if Zeke can go one more round. All right, that's going to end Rook's turn. Going to go to Remy. Remy can move 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Move there. And throwing knife will just hit through. You don't have to deal with the fence. Remy's going to hang on. She's going to chill. Oh, so range is given for an ability, it's SOI. Okay. Gotcha. Alright, so Remy's going to chill. Remy's going to spend the Vitality Juice box. You are an adjacent ally, heals 3. So she's going to use this consumable to start it to heal him for 3. That was for movement 1. Oh, terrain doesn't bother her. Flying. Terrain doesn't bother her. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Okay. Pull her movement 7. Doesn't have any range on this attack. Really wish she did. So we will chill there. Okay, that ends Remy. Then we go to Nightingale. Nightingale has a movement of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She'll chill right there. And It's okay. She's gonna hold on to her vitality box, and that was her movement, and that would end the round. So actions are done. End of phase. Resolve abilities and effects that occur at the end of the phase. Nothing really there. Then we start a new turn. So our ticker goes, and we will control our ticker by my box of dice. We will control our ticker by you for round two. You can't see that at all for round two. There we go. Okay, round two. Start of turn phase. Resolve all abilities and effects that occur at the start of the round. Nothing really happening there. Status phase. If there's any status statuses on cards. So if anything says status, we look at that. Deal with whatever that status is. Nobody has status, so we're good. Refresh all exhaust. Refresh. The adventure goes through the following steps during their phase. Recover stamina points. We get all 3 back. Unexhaust cards. Unexhaust. Unexhaust. Yay. Okay. Then action phase. Grab the initiative order. Give them a shuffle. Yay. Shuffle them up. And hope the cave sickles don't go first. They are not going first. Remy's going first. Then Zeke. Then Nightingale. Then Rook. Woohoo! Then the cave sickle. All right. That's a good turn order. All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So first up is Remy. Well, Remy's going to do her thing. She's flying, so she doesn't really need to deal. She's going to go 1. She can fly over 2, 3. She'll come here because she's flying for 1. And then she's going to spend 2 to attack. Let's. Remy attacks with 2 white. When making an attack, if you have a 2-handed weapon, you may reroll any dice in your combat dice pool, but I gain +1 physical damage if I hit. She can dodge if you want. Remy's dangerous. Remy is very dangerous. So Remy's gonna roll the 2 whites. Oh my gosh, he's dangerous. Remy rolled a 6 and a 4. So against the cave sickles 8, that's 10, so that's 2. Then let's start adding stuff up. When determining the damage of this weapon, she gains +1 damage per each book. She's going to use that. 3. And then she's got 3 shields. And each shield is a damage. 4, 5, 6. Remy slaughtered it. 6 damage going through. Killed it. So Remy killed that one. That ends her turn. Good. Okay, so Remy's gonna be my hard hitter. Wow. So that's gonna end her turn. Wow, I almost was like, okay, I'm gonna have to exhaust Hammerhelm. Nope. Alright, so Zeke's up next. Well, Zeke is kind of ticked. So Zeke's gonna move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move right there. Zeke's ticked. So Zeke's gonna attack. How dare you touch me? Zeke rolled. Oh my gosh, Zeke is angry. So Zeke rolled a 13. Sorry, a 12. A 12, not a 13. 12. He rolled a 12 against an 8, which is a 4. So, um, so then we start adding stuff up. That's 4, 2 shields, 5, 6, 1 star, 7 damage. Completely obliterated the cave sickle. It's dead. He beat it. He beat the swarm. He gets another card. Gets 8 loot. And that ends his turn. Good job. At the end of each encounter, we haven't hit the encounter past. So he obliterated them. They're dead. Next up in the chain is Nightingale. Well, Nightingale's not very strong. Our strong person is Rook. So Nightingale's gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Rook, that was just her movement. She's not gonna try to move that thing. So Rook's gonna try to get over there. So this is how we're gonna spend to get some extra movement to get us there for the next round. Stayed up too late. It's all good. It's all good. I just took out just one way. So Rook's gonna go, and Rook's gonna move his movement to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rook is going to spend an extra one, get +2 movement. So it's kind of like just pushing himself. 7, 8. And then Rook is going to use one, his last one, to interact with that stone, try to knock it out. And what he's going to use is his conviction, which is these dice, to try to beat a 10. He has a 6, which means he has to roll a 4. So it's going to be 6 plus whatever I roll, and I have to beat a 10. Because only Canje can do it. Only he can. Can I reroll any die? Oh, my conviction dice were supposed to be white. Whites have no ones on them. My bad. His deflection score, conviction upgrades dice to white. Ooh. Yeah, I just saw it too, Buell, as I read it. So let's re-roll that. So 7, 8, 9. I couldn't roll ones on because there's no ones on this die. So that's why I couldn't keep it. So I rolled enough. I'm gonna throw it off into the cliff and destroy this. Ooh, that was close. That was close. I rolled 2 1. Ha! What the? Anyway. Alright. So that ends his turn. So Nightingale did move. Rook did. And there's no enemies to go. So there's this weird mechanic on here, and it's kind of like this rush mechanic. That says if there's no enemies on the board and you're just piddling around, you get these little timer tokens, which go here. If I get 5 timer tokens, I lose the game. So I lose the scenario. I lose. So there's no way for you to be like, all right, well, let's sit around and just kind of power up and heal and chill and hang out. If I get 5 of these, I lose the scenario. All right, that ends the round. So we do end of turn, resolve any abilities that are going on. Start of turn. So first we tip this to round 3. Skill rolls are purple only. If they're conviction, they can't as an upgrade. What are you talking about? I guess I'm kind of confused because his conviction upgrade is to allow him to do that. I am horribly mistaken. Angie, actually, you didn't move the rock. Whenever you roll skill checks, it's always on purple. Conviction is the. Oh! Gotcha. Yep, so I did fail. So it's still 2-1. So that ends the round. Okay, well, Remy's gonna take a trip across the chasm if she goes before Rook. So we shuffle these up for round 3. I thought okay, gotcha. All right, first up, Rook, thank you. Second, Nightingale. Third, Zeke, and fourth, Remy. Okay, let's try this again. Can I roll a 4? There we go. Rock, gone. That would cost. I didn't be up. And I need to unexhaust. Try to. I played out of order because I screwed myself up. So, alright. He throws the rock off. It's gone. Alright. And that costs 1 for him to do that. And then he's going to move. 4, which would trigger that one. So let's check line of sight. Here we go. That's the thing. That's 4. Move 4. Where's... We always keep the... Hey, Joe. We always keep the same initiative order through the entire encounter. Is that different? Yes. In 1.0, you keep the same initiative order no matter what. In 1.1, it's a variant to keep it the same initiative order. In 1.1, you actually reshuffle and do them out. So, yes, Joe. Yep. Okay. Purple Totem. As you peer around the corner, you see a handful of cave sickles skittering about. Sorry. They spring into action when they notice you. The cave sickles are blocking the path that leads deeper into the caves. Spawn 2 cave sickles adjacent to the space adjacent to the space this totem occupies. Across the gap, you see another cave sickle emerging near a small box. Spawn 1 more cave sickle adjacent to the blue loot token. Okay. All right. So we've got 2 cave sickles, and we're going back to this because it's just that. So we've got 2 red and purple adjacent to this. Here. And 1, which is the orange one, that... Okay, and they go... So he moved 4. He moved 4. So he's going to back that thing up. 5, 6. And he'll use this extra one. Actually, no, he'll save that for a dodge. He'll save his last one for a dodge. And that'll end his turn. Alright, here we go. Cave sickles are going to activate. So cave sickle number 1, if, is there an opponent adjacent? No. 2, is there an opponent within range 4? That there is no line of sight. I don't know if you can see. Hopefully the light has faded. But there is no line of sight for you to be like, okay, yeah, I can. There's someone in range, so I can fit at. So no. Can I move and attack? Yes, you can. 1. And now you can see me. And then you're going to roll your attack, but because you're within range 4, yep, this is not within your range, but he is. You get that upgrade of an orange and a white. I rolled a 4 and a 4, which is an 8. His shielding is a 9, base 9, plus 110. Whiff. Miss. Next up. That was, sorry, that would have been red. 1, 2. Next up, purple. 1. Let's see. First up, no. Line of sight's blocked as well. I did that on purpose. Next up is to move and attack. 1, 2. And then he's going to attack. 3 and 3. Whiff. Complete miss. So, no hits. Alright, next up is this guy. So he would have to move 1 no, 2 no, 3. Ooh, this is dangerous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come right here. Ooh, boy. Not good, not good. Here we go. That's okay, Joe. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Come back when you can. So, first, let's see. Please fail. Please fail. Woo! Nope, I didn't fail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's within range because he can see me here. So he's going to attack. And because there are 2 cave sickles next to him, he gets to roll 2 oranges. And he rolled a 6 and a 4, which is 10. My shielding is 9, 10. So he meets it. And he gets to use 1 physical to do 1 damage. But I have 2 defense, so no damage. Rook, you beast. Whew. Yes, that is correct. I want to let people know, Rob from Rob's Gaming Table, him and his wife Mel are also playing this game. They did a playthrough of it yesterday, I believe, and they're doing another playthrough just like me because I want to get through this campaign. I want to get through this entire campaign because when Role Player Adventures delivers, I'm all about that life too. So I'm going to be playing this campaign a lot. But check out Rob at Rob's Gaming Table. He does have the playthroughs. Check it out. Enjoy it. He and Rob and Mel are the most. They're probably one of the most fantastic people I've had the pleasure of getting to know. And you should already know who they are because they've got they're just wonderful. They're wonderful. Okay. So that ends. I didn't get hit by any of those. Thank goodness. Okay. Basicles are done. Nightingale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. We'll stand right there. And Nightingale gets to do some stuff. He's going to attack. Nightingale attacks with the white, purple, and her thing says when when making an attack or causing a spell that targets an opponent, empower. That's just what she does. So I get the empower die. She has 2 light things, so one of hers finesses, and it turns from a white to an orange. So I'm just stepping through the phases of the dice pool build because her finesse. I'll hold this up so you can see. Her finesse says finesse orange, so that white die turns to an orange die. Cave sickles make a break attack for the last step. What the heck is that? That is nowhere on this card. Messing with me, Buell. Messing with me. Where does it say that? I don't see that on this card. Oh, and there's lore on the back for people who want lore, like me. So you're gonna have to tell me where that is, what the break attack is. That is in the rule. What page? I missed a lot of yesterday, so I don't know that rule. Show me what page that is. Break attack. Break attack. Break attack, page 44. Must know these rules. Page 44. Diagonals and break attack. When moving or drawing line of sight through a diagonal, players choose which of the 2 spaces affect the line of sight or movement. Space chosen by the players then applies to all of its possible bonuses and negatives gained by the terrain. Okay. For example, if an adventurer were to draw a line of sight through a diagonal, that's not what's happening there. If an adventurer were to draw a line of sight through a diagonal, if at any point during an attack a figure would leave a space. Oh! Well. He'll be there. Okay. I didn't know. So what the rule of the break attack is that Buell's talking about is if I move when next to a creature, I was gonna try to come here, but to kind of make space for the group. That was my purpose. But it can't work like that. Because if I'm next to this purple, and I say I'm gonna move here, this is where my D&D brain and Middara brain are conflicting, right? Yep, this is where my D&D brain and Middara brain are conflicting. Because in D&D, as long as you stay adjacent to a target, they can't make an AOO, or what's called an attack of opportunity, because you're leaving their space of attack. You're already staying with them. However, because Nightingale came here and moved, this is Middara, if I move into a space that has an enemy, once I move anywhere, it's going to break attack. Anywhere. So once I move into a space with, that's where I stay. So I'm going to thank you for that catch. I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to attack. My target of my attack is this purple one, and I'm going to roll these dice. Thank you for that. Yeah, Mage Knight provoke. Like I said, so how I learn games is I try to relate it to another and then change up what I need to change up for the differences. And this game plays a lot like D&D, but it also has stuff like Mage Knight's provoke. It also has a bunch of other stuff, so I have to be very careful to watch that. Okay, so I rolled an 8, a 7, and a lot of stuff. Nightingale's gonna murder this purple one. So let's talk about what happened. So she rolls an 8 and a 7, which is a 15. So that's a 15. That's for 2 attack. That's a 15. They have an 8. So that is 7. 7 over. Yep, so that's 7 over. So it's already dead. But she's not done. She's going to be crushing this thing into paste. She's going to use 2 shields to get plus 2 damage. So that's 7, 8, 9. Plus the 2 others, 10, 11. Plus the stars, 12, 13. Crash. Dead. The Nightingale did very, very well. Break attacks will become a benefit in the future as you develop your character. We purposely would run up in a monster and then move as skips equipments can gain. Can benefit. Gotcha. Gotcha, Tiny. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Nightingale destroyed that creature and ends her turn. But they're part of the swarm, so it doesn't go. So it is, so that's the end of hers. It's Zeke's turn. 1, 4, 5, 6. That will end his turn because I'm not jumping chasm. So Zeke will go here, spend 1. He'll probably spend another. Go. He's going to spend another to kind of move more. 7, 8. And then out in. Nope, nope, nope. That would also be a break attack because this thing's. So it would also be a break. So break attacks. Do break attacks work on diagonals as well? If it works on diagonals, great. If not, he'll move into that space next to the other one. I guess. If at any point during a turn a figure would leave a space that is adjacent to an opponent. Yep. So if he came here and then moved here, that break attack would hit. So he's gonna chill right. Actually, he'll do this. He'll move here. That would stop Remy from doing what she wants. Yeah, that would stop Remy from doing what she wants to do. If he wants to go here and then here, he has to roll the die to see if he jumps. And if I roll a fail, and I could roll a fail, so he's gonna chill there, and that's gonna end his turn. Remy, who's flying, doesn't have to care about the castle. So she can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hop. Your wings, girl. You're gonna go right here, in that spot. I just can't fit her there. It's too big. Her wings are too gaudy. All right, so she's gonna do there, and then she's going to attack. Rolls 2 whites. Cool. Cool. Yeah, flying ignores breaks. Flying ignores a lot, for sure, for sure. So she rolled a 7 and a 5. So that's 12. 12 on 8 is 4. And she does 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 damage destroyed. You're all alone now, Cave Sickle. What? That ends her turn. Okay. End of action phase. Resolve any abilities that happen. No abilities is going down. Then we go to start a turn. Flip this for round 4. Check any status cards. We don't have any. Then we're going to do refresh anything that was. He could have gotten here, he would have killed that, and then we could have gotten this chest and got the heck out of here. But he had to do one more turn. So then we will do refresh everything, nothing to really refresh. Shuffle loot, get all your actions back. The fly costs. The fly does cost 2. Alright, always right. Sick. Stop being right all the time. It would still be there. And he is exactly right because it says 2 on the card. Like this cost. So it would still be alive. That's okay. We'll make it work. We will make it. Casicles go first. Then we kill them. Remy, I needed you to be fast. Darn it. Okay, so the Casicles go first. Red's gonna attack. Is there an opponent adjacent? Yes, there is. Make an attack to the opponent with the most damage. Well, these are 2 adjacent. We get to pick who, and it gets the orange die because it's next to that guy. So it's gonna be. It doesn't matter because they both got the same, and Remy can counter, so it's gonna be Remy. 8 and 4 is 12. Fly to the loot. So 8 and 4, 12. Remy's 10, so Remy gets hit. Well. Remy's gonna spend 1 to dodge that. And let's talk about dodge rule. During the dodge step of an attack, roll the black die and add +1 to the defense of each roll. If it's a skull, no dodge is made. So I'm going to try to roll. I roll this die. And if I roll the skull, snake eyes. Ooh, flank. I could do. She was here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would have put her on this side. You're absolutely right. Good attack. You, tiny. I am learning. So let's see how we do. 1. Awesome. So to the defense of the roll to dodge, to the defense of the roll of the dodge, it is 12 to my 10, 11. I exhausted this too. Passive. When making a dodge roll, if you don't roll the skull, add +1 to the result. Yes! So I dodge. So this shirt is awesome. This shirt is awesome. This is the stuff you gotta keep track of. Notice the passive ability. So I dodged, so I exhausted. When making a dodge, if you don't roll a skull, add +1 to the result. So I didn't roll a skull, so it's 1 + 1, so it's 2, so that's 12. 12 and 12. Cool. Oh, it's gonna hurt. If you successfully dodge the attack, counter. So I'm gonna counter anyway. I'm gonna let you know that. I'm gonna counter anyway. But I want to check in terms of a figure with this ability may make an attack during the check if that target's counter step. If successfully dodged, I'm assuming that means I don't take any damage, which I did. I am going to. Because it met my AC still. So it met my AC still. It's got these shields, so it's going to do 2 damage to me. I don't have any shielding, so I'm going to take 2 damage. Going down there. You have to have no damage being taken. Yep, so I take 2, but I'm going to exhaust the ability core to counterattack. That. So exhaust the ability core to counter. Notice the variant though, right? I exhausted my ability core. I'm gonna swing away. I rolled a 6. Yay! Oh, I didn't have to spend this to dodge. It said exhaust to dodge, so I didn't have to spend it. They're all 6, so counter was useless. Awesome. Okay. That is that one. This one is going to attack Nightingale. Oh, sorry. It had a follow-up. It hit me. It had a follow-up. So it hit me with its follow. It hit me. I did all that for nothing. And then it's going to follow up, make another attack against the same target. I rolled a 7. Miss. So it misses me. Now, it's the next one's turn. It's going to attack Nightingale. Roll a 4. You miss. You miss it all. Okay, so that's the end of your turn. Now the pain. 1. Let's do this. You spend 1 to do it, and then 2 to attack. 2 whites. I rolled an 8. Dang it. Yeah, nothing. That's unfortunate. I met the AC, but I didn't add any damage onto it. So I'm gonna spend 1 of these. I don't know how to do that. It just says heal. It doesn't say for how much. Okay. Flank gains +1 to roll. Thank you. And it is flanked. Flank gains +1 to roll. So it's 9. So I hit it for 1. I hit it for 1. I got 1 on it. 1 on it. Okay. I have a question to ask the chat. One thing I'm noticing in Canje Studios, when you gain your stamina at the beginning of your turn, you gain 3 in addition to whatever you didn't spend from the previous. Up to the amount that you get, though, right? You can't go over. Excuse me. If you could get me, and Tiny, I got a question for you too. So if you could get me, I thought it was up to your red amount, so you don't go over. I can't gain 5. Oh, it is up to 5. Okay. It is up to 5. I thought you. This is okay. I misunderstood that. Thank you. I misunderstood it. So he moved, but he can do anything, which means he would have had 2 more. Total is pip that you can have up. Thank you. Stuff to remember that I forget. Last session, so let's retcon. So let's not retcon because 1 damage, 1 damage. So last session he just moved. He couldn't do anything. He moved back and he stayed. So that means he would have gotten 3, moving up to 5 for this fight. Spent 1 to move. He spent 2 to attack. He's gonna attack. Thanks. Thanks for that. Remy also has 1. Yep. I do need my question that I had is on men. Men says, and let me hold it up so you can see. This thing I couldn't even find in the book. I couldn't even find it in the book, so it makes no sense to me. Here's men. See, it's passive. When these tokens are spent to heal, an ally other than yourself gains +1 SP. Right? How do I spend them to heal? And if I just say, okay, I'm going to spend 1 to heal somebody, how much healing do they get? It just says heal. It doesn't say heal X, which means a dice roll. It just says heal. So I don't understand how Mend works, and I couldn't find anything on Board Game Geek. Or I couldn't find anything about it. I just knew that I could turn it on, but I don't know how to spend it. So if somebody knows, please let me know. I'm super curious. And he's going to attack again while you let me know about that. 8 with flanking. It's 9. So it's +1, and then 2 shields gives 2, which is 3. So he takes 4 damage. Okay, that's the end of Rook's turn. Yet you spend 1 SP to heal 6. It is on the token. Oh. I see stuff like this. This is the reason what this is where my confusion this is where my confusion was. You see stuff like this that says heal 3 and stuff like and whatnot. Uh, I'm assuming it would be on that. I must be missing a token. Courage, face, barrier, condemn, darkness, bolt, poison, paralyze. Then are purple bulbs, dodge about heal. Here it is. So spend 1 SP, figure within you. Since that's all since so I get 2 of these. Cool. Okay. That ends his turn. Ground tokens called. Yep, I got it. Thank you so much. That's super helpful. I was very confused by that. All right. So that ends Rook's turn. He's done. Remy's turn. Remy's gonna attack. Get 2 of these. What the heck is happening? Wow. Wow. My bad rolls are showing. My bad rolls are showing. That was 2 to attack. He's going to attack again with the other 2. Yeah. It was still not enough. I rolled a 5. Even the +1 flank meant nothing. It was 6. Their defense is 8. It was trash. And I rolled another 5. What is happening? Okay. Oh, wait. I'm going to exhaust Hammerhelm for this one. And it says, when making an attack, if you have a 2-handed weapon, you may reroll any dice in your combat pool. So I'm going to reroll this. I know I missed the first one. There we go. There we go. 10. So that's 2, which is enough to kill. Thank you for overkilling. Overkill. So it's dead. Okay. Then that ends her turn. Nightingale's turn. Nightingale's going to spend 2 to attack. She has to roll the black die. And she gets one of these upgraded. There's that. I was like, what is happening? So there's only one cave sickle left. 6, 4, and some stuff. So I've got a 10 on their 8, 2, plus those 2 is +2 is 4, plus those 2 is 6. So that's enough to kill. It will heal. And I will draw a loot card, which gives me 7 gold. She picks that up. And then she's going to move it. Going to spend her last one. Move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That ends her turn. That's Zeke's turn. Zeke is going to spend 1 to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going there the next round. And that ends Zeke's turn. The cave sickles did go, so I don't lose anything. And we go into the next round. Okay. Next round is take care of any effects that are going on. No abilities to resolve. Start of turn, resolve any abilities that are going on. Resolve any statuses. Fresh stuff. Then on exhaust stuff. Allies are enemies? Okay, good to know. Then everybody did use what they had, so you get 3. You get 3. You get more than that. You get 1, go up to 5. And you get... Good to know, good to know. Switch it to round 5. And everything's unexhausted. Shuffle. Okay. He'll be back. He'll be back. These are the small things we must all remember. So who's going first? Oh, the K-Sickle shouldn't be in here. They're dead. Rook. See, let Remy go, let Remy go, let Remy... Yes. And Nightingale. Well, Nightingale'll take us out of here. But Rook's going to go first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, he'll stay here. He ain't gonna do nothing. He's gonna use 1 to do that, and he's not gonna do anything else. Zeke, 1. Alright, 1. He'll hang out right there. Then Remy, she's gonna spend 2 to fly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then she's going to use 1 to interact with the chest. We're getting this blue loot chest. And let's see what's in there. Nope, that was Mass Day 2. Mass Day 1. Blue loot chest. Find a pile of treasure. Gain 2 random consumables. In addition, finding this box will look good when getting graded. Gain 2 bonus points. Hey! Alright, says gain 2 random consumables. And we'll gain that because we're gonna be leaving. So we'll deal with all that cleanup. So that's gonna end Remy's. And then Nightingale is gonna spend 1 to exit. And we exit. So it says an adventurer ends their turn on the blue exit, which she does. So we win. That was our win condition. Not that it matters, but when you hit space 5, you could have stopped there and got the chest. So our reward is restore adventurers. Restore means to heal up and get everything back. Continue to wrong way, page 8. But we got to score. We gotta score ourselves before we go. So let's see what we're dealing with. Bookkeeping. I love this part of the game. Sorry. Okay. So I've got gold. I've got 9 and 8, 17 plus 7, 24 gold. Let's see. We restore everybody, so health is back up, nobody's injured. So there's no XP that was given, but we need to score ourselves here. So where is the score? This is something that comes through and you can get a bunch of these different ones. Oh, just an info for later. Gotcha. Oh, I could have gotten there and get it. Yep, you're exactly right, the old thing. All right, so for our grading, it is round 5 or less, we get 12 points. We ended on round 5, so we get 12 points. For each K-Sickle defeated, gain 2 points. So we beat 4 at the beginning, 3 at the end, which is 7. So we gain 7 times 2, 14. So we're at 26 points. Plus, we got the blue loot token, which gives us +2 bonus points. So, oh my gosh, my brain. 26, 27, 28. We're at 28 points for this round. So, 28 points for math. So 28 points for the mast. Pretty cool. Hey, we got there kind of fast. I think we're going to move on. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going because we're at 10:55, almost 11, so 2 hours. We're going to keep going. So restore the adventurers and restore, just so we get the verbiage correct for restore, what restore means. Restore adventurers 18. We're going to keep it trucking. Not stopping here. Ain't nobody loves me better. Remove all damage tokens, so they heal up. So he's gonna heal back up to full, and I think he was at 12 plus 4, 16. Unexhaust and unflip all cards. All cards. Including per encounter. It says all cards. I'm just gonna believe it. Just gonna believe it. All cards. Okay. Cool. Remove all effect and ability tokens. All adventurers may trade items as if they were adjacent and use a re-equip action. Alright, so let's get our 2 consumables. To build the consumables deck, consumable items are mundane, I believe. Consumables, monster loot, and story items cannot be sold. Items upgrade return. So that's the loot deck that's being built. Let us get out that are mundane. I did not get this far in my playthrough, so I am learning. Relics. Yeah. Relic. Yeah, there. So they're gonna just be mundane consumables, or just not common, mundane. Alright, here we go. So we shuffle these. You gain your heal tokens back too, so don't be afraid to use them during the encounter. So consumables. Hey, look, you can see what they are. So it says gain 2 random consumables. Random. Not looking at my shuffling. You draw from the bottom. I can draw from the bottom, but I know what they are because they're not shuffled. So it doesn't really make it fair, but I could draw from the bottom for him. I have them in order. So I need to shuffle them and then I can draw from the bottom. Yeah. There's a plank somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. Okay. 1. A plank. There you go. 2. Something else. Alright, so 1 is a plank. And I drew from the bottom. It was a good idea, Beal. It was a fantastic idea. So 1's a plank. Ubiquitous plank. Discard. You may do one of the following. Deal a purple dice. Oh, so it's just smacking somebody over the face with a board. To an adjacent opponent. Place a plank token on an adjacent. Reduce physical damage dealt. So cool. And the other one is a bottled blessing. Mundane, right? Yeah, it's mundane. A bottled blessing. At any time, Within SOI, you may do one of the following: heal 3, reroll any dice you rolled, or gain an SP. Well, I'm going to give the bottle blessing to Remy because she used the healing for him. And then the plank because I'm going to give that to Rook. Rook gets the ubiquitous plank. And that ends. That is the bookkeeping. That's what we got. We're healed up. We're good. And we move on to the wrong way. To foreteller while I start setting up everything else. So let's get foreteller up, and then we will keep going. Makeshift bridge. Oh, that's gonna be awesome. I love that. All right, so let's get foreteller going. We're going the wrong way. Just going the wrong way. So I'm gonna hush. We're gonna enjoy foreteller and the wonderful recording.
Wrong way. Rook knocked on the thick stone slab with the butt of his weapon. The sound echoed like a massive stone drum. No way we're getting through that. Nightingale glared at the obstruction, kicking weakly at it. Damn it! Did we take a wrong turn? She glanced over her shoulder to where Zeke and Remy watched. Seems that way. Rook lowered his weapon. Remember, this whole thing is coordinated. Hundreds of candidates are going through the same test. The monsters aren't wild. They have to release them for us in each area, or we'll have nothing to fight. The twists and turns are just another part of the mast. It looks like they can seal up passages with these big stone panels. Zeke dug around in one of his pockets, coming up with a cigarette. Translation: we're too awesome for this test. They want us to slow down so they can spend time on the teams that suck. Looks like it. Rook grinned as he gestured back down the way they came. I think I saw a good place to camp back there. At least we aren't sucking, Remy offered, shrugging one of her wings. I'd rather be in the group they have to slow down than the one that fails.
Okay. That was quick. Good. It's about a minute. So then it says continue to setting up camp, page 9, which is here. So setting up camp's got some more. Setting up camp, which is a 2-minuter.
Setting up camp. This looks like a good spot. Remy tried to sound enthusiastic. The cavern they had chosen to spend the night in had a ceiling at least 20 feet up. Damp stalactites glittered in the light of their glowstones, occasionally dripping water. Even so, most of the floor was dry and flat enough to serve their needs. I like it. Rook gestured ahead with one meaty hand. Only one other way out. Should be easy to keep watch. We don't have to stop. Nightingale hurried past Remy into the cavern. Wouldn't it be sweet if we were the first team ever to finish the mast in just one day? Yeah. Zeke stopped right in the middle of the cave, sloughing off his heavy pack. It dropped with a dull thud at his feet. But we won't. If we try to keep going without resting, he shook his head. Better to finish a little slow and keep all our limbs. Remy needed no further encouragement to drop her pack, tossing it to the ground. She closed her eyes, letting her massive wings stretch and flex. It felt fantastic. At least until she felt them smack something. Ow! Zeke yelped. Sorry, Remy blushed, retreating a little. I didn't mean to. Nah, it's nothing, Zeke shrugged, wiping a feather off his cheek. It's better than being slapped by Knight's Tail. I haven't done that in ages. Nightingale frowned at him. He returned her scowl with a wide grin and she turned away, looking around. Guess I'll start the fire. I can help. Rook set his bag down at his feet, fishing around for a few seconds before pulling out a set of flint and steel. I'd like to do it, Nightingale said with excitement as she took the tools from Rook. The mast is supposed to prepare us for whatever Middara can throw at us. That means no shortcuts. Rook then pulled out another set of tools, some sticks and tinder. No shortcuts? He asked wryly, holding the objects out towards her. Nightingale sighed. Flint and steel counts as a shortcut, huh? Rook only smiled back. Okay, fine, she said, swapping what she had with Rook. Then she got to work getting the fire started. Remy frowned, thinking desperately of what she could do. The other members of the team all seemed to know each other already, but they barely knew her name. She was determined to pull her own weight through the rest of the mast. I could set up the sleeping bags. Remy looked down at their little pile of supplies. Sure. Zeke was the last to separate, weapon in hand. I'll scout the rest of the cave just in case.
Okay, so this comes up with a skill check. With a skill check, means I'm rolling 2 purples. So it says make a perception check 10. Make a perception 10 check with Zeke. So Zeke's perception is 6. So shall I say the fateful words of all I have to? It's a 6. So I need to roll. I got a 6 and a 6. So that's more than enough to succeed. Hey. So 6, so 12 plus 6, more than enough. I beat the 10 check. So it says if Zeke passed, continue to check out the loot. All right, so let's check out that sweet loot.
Check out the loot. Zeke walked the perimeter of the cave, scraping along the rock with a wooden pole he'd taken from their camping supplies. Where the gloom concealed, he used the pole to check for danger. There was no way to guess what the proctors might try to throw at them. Giant rats set loose into the camp while they slept? Pipes to flood the cave? Whatever the Alinea Institute had planned for them, Zeke intended to be ready. He didn't find any secret passages, hidden traps, or insidious ways to torment them in their sleep. As he neared the end of the search, he struck a section of rough wall that thumped strangely when he just hit it right. "Hey guys, I think there's something here," he called back before dropping onto his knees and feeling around the wall. After a few seconds, he felt a little lever give way under his touch. Zeke flinched, half expecting a trap, but instead a thin facade retracted from the wall, revealing a tightly wrapped bundle. He kicked gingerly at it, sending it rolling out of the opening and onto the floor in front of him without exploding, shooting acid, or sending spikes at him through the floor. He grinned, lifting the tightly wrapped bundle of burlap and holding it up for the rest of his team to see. "Hey, everybody! I found a care package!" "Nice work," Rook called, not rising from his work around their makeshift fire pit. "They must have hidden some supplies like this for the groups who actually pay attention."
Woohoo! We get the party game's 4 random mundane consumables. So let's shuffle this up and draw from the bottom like Buell says. We're gonna listen to Buell. Got that, that, that. Okay. So all mundane. So let's hide foreteller before we continue. And let's see what we got. We've got lovely, lovely some throwing knives. We've got hyper energy HP potion for some healing. We've got a vitality juice box for some more healing. And we've got bottled blessing. Okay. So he can hold 4, so we can give him something. If you can hold 1, you're full up. Do throwing stars count as Groot? Yeah, do the throwing knives, I keep saying throwing stars. Do the throwing stars count as 1, or are they each in the pack? So healing's always a good thing. Bottle blessing. The hyper energy potion is cool, and the throwing knives are cool. Each is a separate. Okay. Well, he's at 3, and their carrying capacity is 3. Red Bull gives you weight. So 1 can go here, and 1 can go here. I can't carry the other 2. Well, I'm gonna carry the most expensive just in case I could sell them. So we're gonna give the HP. Well, he's already got 1. I've got 4 throwing knives amongst myself. Rook and yeah, but I've already got 3 things. I know. I've got the hyper energy, I've got the magic bomb, and I've got the ubiquitous plank. So he can carry 1 more, which to me these sell higher. Throwing knives would be cool because they just hurt. The juice box is cool for healing. It's healing 3. That's the lesser of what I can carry. So, one of these gotta go, and I don't know which one. You can also put 3 into backpack. Right. Do I have that? Backstab. Oh, let's see. Carry. Pass. Item. Item limits 24. Once again, learning new stuff. Each person has a backpack that can hold items. Good to know. Good to know. I read the book, I promise. It's just there's a lot. There's a lot to take in, and I don't remember everything. But I promise you I've read this. During the game adventure, main goal to get items. Adventures may only buy items and learn discipline. Most common way adventures hold. In adventure mode, this will typically occur during shop and train. Crawl mode, blah blah blah. Nothing says item. Have the mat switch help. How many are in the? I have the mat too. It's just it's rolled up. But how many? How many can they carry in their backpack? Let me know. It has slipped my brain. Consumables. Party stash never runs out of room. Here it is. The party stash represents all the items that the party owns but doesn't currently want to equip. The party stash never runs out of room, and players may put items in the party stash anytime. However, they may only take items out of party stash during story rounds. There it is. Got it. Alright, so we're keeping it all, but we're gonna equip stuff. We're gonna equip you for the heals. We're gonna equip you for the extra. And these are going into party stack. So we're gonna put these over here. Okay. Cool. Then it says continue to cozy fire, page 10. And I'll set up the board while this is being read. This one looks like this one looks like cozy fire is 5 minutes, so that should give me time to set up. That should give you all time to do what you need to do. So let's do it.
Cozy fire. Remy worked diligently, not bothering to keep her wings folded behind her as she laid out the sleeping mats and put the bedrolls atop them. The others were all relaxing now after their intense day, but Remy hadn't complained. She would show them how useful she could be. Without the shelter of a tent, Remy laid tripwires across each entrance. She didn't think the Institute would plan an attack in the middle of the night, but she wasn't going to rule it out. Rook's voice rumbled from the fire circle. "That's right. Not too much," he said on a large rock, watching Nightingale. She puffed on a ball of smoldering kindling, and soon the fistful of plant fiber started to smoke. "Get it into the rest of the wood, quick!" She did, and soon the little fire roared to life. "That wasn't that hard." Nightingale wiped her hands against her shirt. "Is roughing it always this easy?" "Easy? It took you 20 minutes to light the fire," Zeke said. Since returning from the scouting excursion, he'd watched as Nightingale and Rook struggled to get the fire lit. Nightingale only shrugged and grinned at him. Another 20 minutes later, and they were all gathered around the fire, resting on a ring of rubble they'd made and sharing bowls of camp stew. Remy felt much better with hot food in her stomach and a merry fire crackling nearby. Nightingale smiled appreciatively. "This is great stuff, Remy. I never thought camp food could taste this good." Remy looked away, though she couldn't keep the pride from her face. "I used to cook for my little brothers and sisters all the time. Half the time we had less in the cupboards than the Academy gave us to work with here." Nightingale looked up, understanding in her eyes. "My family back on Earth didn't have a lot either." "And now we're in Middara." Zeke's voice was more subdued as he sipped the broth from his bowl. "What we had on Earth isn't what we have here. Another few days and we'll be citizens. We'll be able to leave the Academy whenever we want. Buy anything we want. Choose where to work." "Maybe your mom will," Nightingale muttered. "But Balthazar and Kezia? It feels like I'm just a tool to my parents here. Being royalty just makes me and you nothing more than pawns." "You're a princess, though," Remy said, meeting her gaze. "Isn't that exciting?" Nightingale scoffed. "If you like being cooped up for the rest of your life, being whisked away to a fantasy world should be about this." She gestured at the dark cave around her. Adventure, danger, monsters, and traps. Now that's exciting. Remy frowned and took another sip from her bowl. Nightingale patted Remy on the back. Don't sweat it, Rimdog. I thought being a princess would be much cooler, too. Rimdog? Remy grimaced at the moniker. She hoped that it wasn't something Nightingale was going to keep calling her. Zeke shifted on his log. I don't know. It's better than being poor. His eyes flickered towards Rook. No offense. Rook waved his hand dismissively and kept eating his stew. But my mom, or should I say Lady Ida Zhang, he spoke her title mockingly, get past all her bullshit formality in politics, and I think somewhere in there is a heart. I bet your parents are the same, Knight. I doubt that. I'll be lucky if this isn't the last time I'm in any kind of danger, Nightingale said. It's not like it's unique to royalty, Rook replied thoughtfully. My parents here on Middara are just farmers. They're great, but I don't think farming is for me. I'd rather do something a bit more exciting, too. Nightingale made a grunt in agreement, and there was a long pause. Remy looked up and found all three of them looking at her, and she shuffled uncomfortably under the weight of their stares. What about you, Remy? Nightingale finally asked. I've heard Zeke complain about his mom 1,000 times, but I've never really talked to you. Remy hesitated but took a breath. Well, all I have here is my father, and he's... She looked away. I'm not really sure what kind of person he is. Nightingale raised an eyebrow, but Remy didn't continue. She didn't want them to think less of her. Rook saved her from having to elaborate. We should rest. He set the pot down beside the fire, completely empty. We'll need our strength for tomorrow. Remy slept uneasily in the dark cave, tossing and turning on the uneven stone. The school hadn't given them tents, and the sleeping bags they'd been given were threadbare and offered little insulation. From the occasional shifting or grunt she heard in the dark, Remy was fairly sure her new friends were all equally uncomfortable. The next morning, Rook woke her with a gentle nudge and the smell of hot oatmeal. A quick breakfast and a little time to clean up their camp, and they started moving again. I've got a great feeling about today, Nightingale called from the front of the group. She sounded far more awake than Remy felt. So maybe we didn't finish early. That doesn't mean we can't totally own it. I'm sure we will. Zeke walked along beside Nightingale. This left Remy at the rear with Rook, though the corridor was only just wide enough for them to walk abreast. At least the way was mostly straight. She supposed far fewer students would make it through the mast if they were constantly getting lost. They didn't have far to go before the path widened, running along the edge of a dank pond. Remy reached out with one boot, touching the side. Water splashed and ripples echoed across the dark surface. They weren't alone.
Okay, so the mast, day 2. A small pond stands between you and your ferocious Gevaudan. Gevaudan? North is that way. So your sudden approach must have drawn its attention, and the creature now growls in your direction. In the dark, you can hear the clicking of cave sickles somewhere in the distance. Hopefully, if nobody gets too close, the cave sickles won't even realize anyone is here until the Gauntlet has been killed. Very important piece. So, we set up our tiles. We put the figures that we need are the Gauntlet. Gabriel, I saw that one. Thank you, though. The Gauntlet and 3 cave sickles. So it says our end condition. Win condition, all opponents are defeated. So, cool. Lose condition, all adventurers are defeated. All. Loot level, there is no loot level. It says loot level's mundane. And then it says none, like no special loot. Special encounter rules. Grading. This encounter of the mass will grade you on your combat performance. Regard your score you earned during this encounter in the notes section on the adventure sheet. Your score for each encounter can never fall below 0. So if we hit 0, we fail. So for each cave sickle we defeat, we get 2 points. For the Galvadon we defeat, we get 5 points. And whenever an adventurer is defeated, we get -5. So this is the interesting part, and this is what Tiny was talking about before. where she was talking about flanking. It says tip flanking. So now it's introducing flanking. Proper positioning is everything. Figures may never dodge while in water. You can't dodge in water. Figures, which means everybody. Use this to your advantage when fighting an opponent that dodges a lot. Be careful though, this restriction also applies to you. If you are having a hard time hitting an opponent, don't forget to flank, which is in rule on 50 in the rule book, which is what Tiny was talking about, that you get a +1 for a refresher on flanking. So this is teaching you flanking. Cool. So this is the mast. Day 2. We have creatures that are spawned. We have the Gavadon. It will be painted. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Just not for day 1. So this is the Gavadon. It is a wolf creature. What it is. And it is. And we have 3 cave sickles. So it said, what was interesting, it says, hopefully nobody gets too close. Cave sickles won't even realize anyone is here until the Gavadon has been killed. 3, 1, and they're on elevation 3. 2, 3. Okay. Yep, there's no other special rules to this. This is the party. So great as we. Okay. Bring out our creatures. Got cave sickles, as you've seen them multiple times. And we've got the Gavadon. It is agile. The first time each turn the Gavadon is attacked, it dodges. First time each turn. Ferocious. When the Gavadon successfully dodges an attack, it gains courage. We'll look up what that means. Adrenaline. The first time each round the Gavadon can, it will counter with an attack and up to reach of 2, so it's got some reach. Like it looks like a Ninetales. And then it's got its if-else scenarios, and it hits pretty hard. This looks like a mini-boss. So we're fighting a mini-boss. Cool. Let me move these where I can get to them. These so you can see. That's where we are. No special rules. This is just win-lose. Win-lose. Courage is a round token. Thank you. Thank you. Intervention. These should be all the intervention tokens. Tentacle. Summon. Heals. Vows. Lots of vows being made. Dodges. Red bulbs. Purple bulbs. Yellow bulbs. Black and green bulbs. No courage. Oh, courage is a square token on here. It's square. It's this one right here. So it says, when making an attack, gain star, shield, and book X. Discard if you miss. Okay, so it gains one thing to kind of attack. They are in the turn order. So let's get goals. This up. Let's get the initiative for the Java. So it growls at us. Cave sickles don't see us until the guy died. This is when we need a buzzer to alert you to chat. No, I'm looking at it. I definitely see it. So there's a delay in when I say something and then you type to me for it to get to me. But I'm watching the chat, and I think the delay is about 5 to 7 seconds. Maybe a little bit more, but Once it pops up in chat, I'm definitely chat's right here. It is right here on this side. So as soon as I see something pop up in there, my eyes go right to it. So I'll be watching it. Okay. So if you see anything I'm doing wrong, put it in the chat. I promise you it'll pop up. I'll see it. Yep. See? I just saw that pop up. Gotcha. Okay. So boop. Boop. let's shuffle these up. It says the Gavadon kind of growled at me. It's an intelligent creature, not swarmish. And the deck of mundane is there. My question on the Gavadon is, if its turn comes up, is it just chilling where it is, or is it coming for me? Because it said it kind of growled in the book. The cave sickles, it did say they won't notice anything until the Gavadon is dead. So I'm assuming the Gavadon comes, it comes, and then as soon as I kill it, the cave sickles go nuts. That's what my assumption is from the reading. If I am wrong, please let me know. This is brand new to me. I've never done this scenario. I only did the first one to learn. So I'm assuming the mechanic is the Gavadon's coming for me. And if and on its turn, and the cave sickles just kind of do nothing until the Gavadon's dead. Okay, here we go. Wow. Zeke. Rook. Nightingale. Cave sickles. Remy Ma. Okay, so Gavadon goes first. Let's check its stuff, and I will hold it up so you can see. So it's got its passives. Let's check it. Is it being attacked? Nope. So it doesn't need to dodge. Ferocious. When the Gavadon successfully dodges, it gains courage, so it doesn't need to dodge. Adrenaline. The first time each turn the Gavadon can, it will counter with an attack at a reach up to 2. So it's not being attacked, so none of the passives hit. Let's move down. Is there any opponent adjacent? Nope. Is there any opponent within reach 2? Can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? Well, it has a movement of 6, a defense of 10, and a health of 12. So, water is difficult terrain, so it costs 2 each time you got to move. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it cannot do that. It can't. There's no way it can't do it. So the Gavadon is going to pick its nose because none of its conditions can be met. It's not going to move. It cannot move to get in range. So yeah, that's. Break attacks work on reach too? Okay, cool. Alright, that's very important. Thank you. Yeah, Tiny, keep me honest. I love it. I love it. Alright, so the Gavadon can't do anything. Fix it. But we're going to get a stupid counter at the end of the round because nothing's probably going to do anything. Zeke's turn. Zeke is going to move it, move it. I believe you have to check always line of sight, but they are on elevated terrain, so it could be different the scenario. From what I understand, and especially what these banners mean here, that they wouldn't notice me until the Gavadon's dead. Hans, and how I was reading that in the book, that's what it was saying. That it was scenario specific. And please, let me know if I'm screwing this up. Because it says, the cave sickles won't even realize anyone is here until the Gavadon has been killed. That's what it says. Hopefully nobody gets too close. So it can't get... It's saying that if we get close to here, they'll see us and come. But otherwise, they don't see us. So I'm reading the rules as that. If I'm wrong, let me know. But that's what I'm going with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. Then I'll stop there. Otherwise, if that's true, they've got line of sight of me from jump. They can see me no matter where I go. The only time they can't see me is from here, and no one can fit behind here, so they would automatically spring. So it just makes sense. And especially with these symbols here, it looks like there's this barrier, this block of white that's stopping them from doing that. But once again, if I'm wrong, please, please let me know. Round one. Okay, so I'll spend. I'm gonna chill because I want to get up to 5 for next round. I think it's gonna hang out. Oh, shuffle these back. All right, he moves. I need to get. I'm trying to set up for this assault, but I know I'm gonna have to take a hit from the Galvadon to start, and I'd rather Rook or Remy take that hit rather than anybody else. So, say moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit 6, 7, and I think all he. Oh, he had a passive. Ugh! I almost forgot about this. At the end of each encounter, if you had this core equipped since the beginning of the encounter, gain a single consumable item of your choice from the loot level or lower. However, I don't think the encounter is over, or else the book would say the encounter. Well, no, it said refresh all, so that would have worked because it said once per encounter. So I would have gotten that utility core at the end, pick anything from mundane that he would get. Ooh, I could get a smoke bomb. I think I might get a smoke bomb. So I think I'm gonna get a smoke bomb. And when I didn't do that at the end. Each separate setup is an encounter. Yep. So he would have gotten this utility core, and I'm gonna pick up. It says pick whatever you want from the loot level or lower, and it's mundane loot. So oh wait, mundane consumables. Sorry. Beware, English is not my. No, it's all right, Hans. You have kept me so honest, dude. I don't mind it at all. So I'm gonna take a smoke bomb, and I'm gonna put that in the stash for later use. Yeah, you have kept me beyond honest on this game. On many other games, I don't mind. All right, so I'm gonna stay there and chill now. And Rook, Rook is gonna do some movement as well, so he's gonna spend one to move. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! 4, 5, 6. Still there. Rook is gonna turn this thing on. Get those two. And that is that. Keeping an eye on the screen and all that other. Okay, so let's see what we got next. Um, oh, Rook. Let me push the movement a little bit for Rook. Gonna do 2 more. That extra movement just to get there. That extra movement. All right, so I'll put that there, and that lens works. Then we'll go with Nightingale. Nightingale can move 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that one to do that. Alright. That guy will come and hit me this one time. He'll come next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he can get in range to hit me next round. Okay. I'll only get one of those pings. So that ends Nightingale's turn as we prep. Cave sickles are going to their nose. None of the enemies acted, so I'll add one of these. And then Remy's turn. Going to spend 2 to fly. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. If you're on lower terrain, you don't have line of sight unless the target is on the edge of the elevated terrain. That's why they set the cave sickles in the scenario back to the edge. Okay, cool. Okay. That ends because the cave sickles, none of that can happen for them to move. Okay. Then that will end Remy's turn. Then we end the phase. Did get my 1 for what happened. Resolve any abilities. Nothing really to resolve. Start of turn. Going to round 2. Check all the statuses. Just FYI, if you're on the. Oh yeah. Statai. What's the plural of status? Status. Refresh everything. Gain these back. So you would gain 3, 1, 3, 3, 2, 3, and you're going up 5, lady. 2, 3. Fun time. Okay. All right. This one's not graded on speed, so I get to shuffle this up and do well. Do well. Let's shuffle it. Okay. Rook. Okay. Remy. Cave Sickles. Nightingale. Seek. And the Gavadon. I'm saying the name right. I'm calling it the Gavadon, but I could be wrong. Okay. So let's see what we got here. So Rook's going first. Remy should go first because she can fly and hit it, and then Rook could take care of it. But Rook's gonna go first. He's gonna spend 1 to move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chilling right there. I'm watching range. I'm watching range. Chilling right. I'm gonna make it come to me. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. That's all he's gonna. That's Remy. Spend 2 to beat them wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remy's flying. Then Remy is going to attack 2. Alright, so it's going to try to dodge. So let's see. Agile. The first time each turn the Gavadon is attacked, dodge. When the Gavadon successfully dodges, it gains courage. And the first time each turn the Gavadon can, it will counter with an attack at reach up to 2. So this is going to be a toughie. But let's see how. Actually, I might not. I might just throw something at it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Instead of doing that, I'm gonna save that. Save. Save that. I want you flying. Yeah, because it's not diagonal. It is diagonal too. I want that creature to come in the water so that I can hit it. So I'm not gonna go bum rush, but I'm gonna throw a knife at it right in its face. And according to the rules of throw, Henry David, throw. I will be right back. Gotta use the facilities for a sec, but I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm old. As soon as you drink water, you have to use the restroom. So I'm gonna throw a knife at this thing. Alright, so I was looking up the rules for throwing knife. Throw 33. 33. So throw die. The throw ability allows an adventurer to deal physical damage to an opponent equal to the listed die with range 4 and line of sight. This is not an attack, and no attack is made. You simply roll the die and deal the damage. As such, this damage cannot be dodged. Lastly, armor still reduces damage dealt this way. Okay? You have no armor, so I'm gonna throw a dagger at you, rolling a purple die. E. Within range 4, right? No dice roll. Yep. So one. Oh yeah. So I'm throwing something at you. Ooh, I roll. Ooh. Ooh. So you can't dodge it. You have 12 health. So let me get die to health. 12 health. You have no armor to reduce it. It doesn't go against defense. Did I get buffed? Oh, it's just 7. 7 damage. So I hit him for 7. Wow. Wow, that's pretty good. So I hit him for 7. Is it that easy? It can't be that easy. I'm doing something wrong. Someone tell me I'm doing something wrong. Because I just rolled a 7 on a throw. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Sweet. Oh no, it is a thing. So I hit it for 7 damage. Those are discarded now. Okay. Can I do it again? Because I can kill him in one turn. Can I? Nope, not doing anything wrong. Can I throw another dagger at him? Because I've got 2. um, I won't though. I'm gonna save one for the cave sickles. I'm gonna save the last one for the caves. Yep, I can throw it again. Oh gosh. Go. Yes, you can. Yeah, if you have more daggers. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm doing it. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Ah, I'm gonna do it. Why are y'all letting me do this? I rolled a 2. So I hit you for 2 more, so it goes down to 3 health. Oh man, it was almost one-shotted. What? Alright, discard those. So you've used them all. That's gonna be the end of Remy's turn. The cave sickles aren't gonna do anything. Oh my gosh. Nightingale. What am I doing? Nightingale could cast a spell that if I hit it, it could try to conviction to resist. Ooh boy. So Nightingale's gonna move. Then 1 to move. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Nightingale's gonna cast the spell. Lesson learned. uh, some weapons in the future will have thrown also. These are exhaust actions on weapons, so you can only do it once. Okay. So Nightingale's going to Gore Shot. Cast spell 6. Deal 2 magic damage. You may deal yourself 2 irreducible damage to deal additional magic damage equals. So let's see if we can kill this thing. Oh my gosh. Alright, so spells. To cast a spell, I look on Nightingale's card, and it says it's 1 purple die. I'm gonna roll. It's in SOI or Sphere of Influence by 4. Actually, no, it's not. It's line of sight. It doesn't matter. Spells don't care. As long as I can see you, I can cast it. No one's blocking me, so it's not reduced. So it's 6 plus 5 is 11. He is going to try to. He's going to use conviction to see if he can beat an 11. He does not. From what I understood of the book deal, it was saying that as long as you can see, it doesn't matter, unless that's changed and I misread that. But sure, either way, I'm in range. So he rolled a. Are you going to try to? The first time each turn, the Gabadon is attack dodge. All right, all right, good people. This is the important part that I need help with. The Gabadon. It says agile. The first time each turn, the Gabadon is attack dodge. This is a spell that is doing magic damage. Can it dodge magic damage? Now, you could have been playing right. Hey, I've been wrong a lot. I'm just learning this. Can it dodge magic damage? Either way, it won't matter. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. No, it is not an attack. Okay. So spells are an attack. Alright. So I hit you, exhausting gore shot, and I'm gonna take 2 damage, going down to 3, and make it 4. So I hit you for 4. It's dead. So I killed it. I killed the I killed the Gavadon. It dies. Oh my gosh. Didn't get a chance to do anything. So alright, so I need to get over here because the counter's still ticking. So I kill the Gavadon. I get to pull this. So spells are not considered attack. Gotcha. Spell attack. Kind of like I said, the D&D mindset that I need to break myself out of. So she gets to pull loot. Level mundane. Wow. Wow, that knife throw was epic. I got 9 gold. Nightingale. Took it to the half. Alright. That exhausted that. Okay. Just to make sure I don't get that. But exhausted. Okay. That killed it. It's dead. So the cave sickles are aware of its past, especially in the book. This cannot be this fast of a scenario. I feel like I'm. Ah! Nope, I just need to defeat all opponents. So the Gavadon gave me 5 points. Okay. Killing it. Now, it's gone. Cave sickles to deal with. That will end Nightingale's turn. Zeke. Zeke, you are burning everything you got to get over there so they can see you. But we gotta take it in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. Would be 1 to do that. And then I'll go to move 2 more. 8, 9, 10, 1 more. 10, 11. They can't see me yet because I'm not at the end of elevation 1. So they can't see me just yet. But they are going to start moving. That ends my turn. No creatures went. So I get another one of those scary, scary things that I don't like. No creatures went, so we get the timer of 2. Okay, wow. Okay. I've got Throwing Star so Remy could get it back. Um Gulp. Next up is let's do all this stuff. This will unexhaust. That back. All that stuff is good. Okay. Good. 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 We're good. Okay. Oh, this stuff. So you would pull up, get everybody their tokens. 3 would pull up. You would just get 1. You would get 3. Alright, we just need to get these cave sickles line of sight. We can kill. He can heal. I'm gonna get another token if I don't get to that edge. Okay. I need them to see me so they can they're like, hey, I saw you, jerk. Here we come. I'm gonna get another one of those tokens. Alright. So cave sickles go first. They don't see me. Let me talk about you two's elevation. Elevation 22. Elevation is a change in the height on the game board. Where there is elevation change, it is denoted with a dashed purple line in elevation. Figures cannot draw line of sight to a target on higher elevation. If the line of sight cannot, unless the target is on the edge of the higher elevation. If line of sight is drawn through a space on different elevation, that is not the space the target occupies. There are 4 levels of elevation. 4 is higher than 1. Page 53 is where it talks about spells. Under choose the target, it says select a single figure in the SY of the target. Thanks, Beal, for looking that up. That is super important. So you can see that one. You can't see that one. So they don't see me yet, but they are dead. So they can't do anything because they don't see. Because they're not at the edge of the elevation. The edge of the elevation here, here. So unless they're there, they don't see anything and they don't act. Alright, so they're not going to go, and I'm going to get in trouble for that. How about climbing elevation? Attacking from 1 up. That's what I wanted to look up. There are 4 levels of elevation. 4 is the highest and 1's the lowest. Figures may move between an elevation change of 1 without penalty. For an elevation change of 2, figures may move to the lower elevation normally, but may not move back up to the higher elevation. An elevation change of 3 prevents a figure from moving to the higher elevation, and a figure moving to the lower elevation is defeated, so that's falling and dying. Melee attacks and break attacks may not target a figure at an elevation change of 2 or more, but range attacks may be made at any elevation change as long as the requirements of line of sight are met. You can attack adjacent within 1 level up. Problem is it's 1 and 3, it's not 1 and 2. So how do I get up there? See, it's saying when I'm at a higher elevation, but it's not saying when I'm at a lower elevation how to get up higher. Figures with flight may move between any elevation without penalty. Cool. Cool. But that does not change the fact that I want to get up to a higher. You can attack it. So how do I get up there? Can I not? There are 4 levels of elevation. Figures may move between an elevation change of 1 without penalty, but this is a 2. Oh, that's the only way to get up there is flying with Remy? Alright, so I gotta get their attention, and then they'll crawl down and come to me. Alright, so that's unfortunate. Well, let's position, because Remy's getting up there to get their attention this round. That is unfortunate. Let's position ourselves. 1 here. 2. I'll boost attack on me like crazy if I'm careful. I gotta bring them down. I can't just, so that'll be that. For Rook is gonna spend 1, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, okay. Nightingale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, Remy. Gosh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 2 more. 8, 9. Remy might get punched. Yeah, Remy's gotta get punched. They see her. They see her now. I think she has to stay there. Unfortunately, I think she has to stay there. Okay. Canje, you didn't get an urgency token on the round. You killed the goblin. I did. What do you mean? I put one there. I did. I put one there. The first round they moved here. I got one because the Gavadon didn't move. The second round they killed the Gavadon. No one acted, so I added another one at the end of the round. So I did get an urgency token. They have 2. You shouldn't have gotten it. Oh, you shouldn't. You didn't get an urgency token on the round you killed the Gavadon. I thought, okay, what Steele's talking about, this is where, once again, rules. And he's been doing fantastic. I thought urgency tokens was when the enemy didn't do anything that round, not when I did something. Let's go to page 18 on urgency. Page 18, urgency tokens. Urgency tokens represent the adventurer's race against time. They are used to keep the game moving and to prevent players from abusing certain abilities. At the end of the round in which no opponent had an AI step. Yep, you are right. You are right. Yeah, yeah. When no opponent had an AI step, it happened. That's the important piece. The Gavadon did go, it just couldn't do anything. You did it. You got it right. You got it right. There is, to keep reading, it says no opponents were defeated, which the Gavadon was defeated, and no opponents were spawned. An urgency token is added. So that's a really good one. That's a really good one, Buell. Yep. So I defeated an enemy, so I wouldn't have gotten an urgency token. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Nothing's done that round. Yep. So if they didn't have an AI go and did nothing, then that would happen. So I'm gonna get one this round, basically. So Remy's gonna end her turn there. Okay. Do all the status effect stuff. We're gonna update. So she's gonna get 3. Back up. Get 3. You're gonna get up to full as well because we are prepping for this fight, and I hope Remy goes first. And you're gonna go from that. All right. And we get a token this round. This increases round 3. It happened. Do the truffle shuffle. All right. They have spotted us. Attack time. So time to pop and go. Pop and go. Pop and go. Alright. So Remy needs to go first to get the heck out of Dodge, then the cave sickles, then us. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bad time. Alright. Nightingale goes first. Okay. Remy next. Zeke. Oh god. Really? Really? Alright, we're getting attacked this round. Okay, so Nightingale's gonna go first. Really nothing she could do. This is a round of me doing nothing. At all. Wow, that was unfortunate. But they're gonna attack, so I won't get an urgency token. It's just Remy's gonna get punched in the face really, really hard. Remy is actually going to fly, and she's gonna fly here, which should bring the other. So she's flying. Thematically how I'm looking at this. Oh, she can do at least one attack. You're right. You're right. She's gonna move 1, 2 here. She's not even gonna fly. She's just gonna move. She's gonna do 2 attacks, mind you. 2, 2. So she's gonna move here. I was gonna fly back and thematically fly up so they can see me and come forward, but she can attack. So let's lower some numbers. So she's gonna attack. Yeah, because she was here, so there was no break. So she's gonna attack. 7 and a 3. There was no break attack. I watched for the break. I watched for the break. She was here. I was standing here, which was, let me lean my finger back so you can see. So there was none that was there. The break wouldn't have hit. Okay. So, but there's 10. So, that's 10 on 8, 2, plus shield 3, plus another shield 4, plus a star 5, exhausting the war axe to use the book as well, 6. So she kills this. Should have moved here. I really should have moved here. You know what? I probably might. I probably might take it back. Nah, nah, nah. I want them to come to the edge. No, they're not gonna come to the edge. They're gonna sit at her. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna do a Canje. Everybody gets 1, and instead of my attack being there, I'd put it and just let her deal with them. Yeah, I'm just gonna let her deal with them and end the charade so that she's gonna attack again. Instead of her moving down, it'll move in. And I rolled pretty good stuff again. That's a 10 on an 8, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm thinking of using this bottled blessing to re-roll the die I just rolled. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use this bottle blessing. As it says, at any time, an ally within sphere of influence may do one of the following. And I'm assuming an ally includes me, so I can drink it. And it says reroll any dice you just rolled. as one of the options. So I'm going to do that. Actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to use my passive on Hammerhelm. I'm going to use my passive on Hammerhelm so I don't have to do that. So my passive on Hammerhelm says you gain +1 physical damage. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, +1, 6. That's enough. You're dead. You are dead. Killed number 2. You're alone, sir. And that ends Remy's turn. So Remy's done. Remy killed 2. Yes, it does. Oh, okay. Alright. Zeke. Zeke can't do anything. Rook can't do anything. Cave Sickle goes. It's only going to roll 2 against Remy. And Remy's going to counter this bad boy, so she's going to dodge and then counter. So you better hit me. 6 and a 3. That's a 9 on my 10. That's a miss. That is a miss, sir, because your first thing says attack if you can. But I'm going to exhaust the ability core to counter you. So you missed. Can I counter a miss? I think I can. Because it's a counter of an attack. If it's a counter of an attack, if it's a counter of attack, you're going to pay. Counters, page 50. Counter. If a figure attacks a target and the target misses or deals no final damage, the target may use the counter ability during the check. So I'm going to counter. I'm going to counter you. Oh, Nelly, I just won the scenario. So, 14 minus 8 is 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow! Draw a card, and I get 9 gold. Remy gets 9 gold. Remy MVP. MVP. So, all enemies have been defeated. Wow, that was fast. Okay, Mass Day 2. Woo! Oh my god, is there more? Is there more and y'all are just messing with me? Mass Day 2. Win condition, all opponents are defeated. Remy countered and destroyed. All components are defeated. Restore adventurers. Restore all adventurers. So, restore. Calvadon. I that's on. I took no damage this. So, restore everything. Everything is restored. I'll make sure to do that and give health back where health is due. That may be my favorite part of the game, the chance that characters finally get the ability to counterattack. Yeah, I agree. There's one correction on the statement about throw. If the character is on the edge of the higher elevation and you are still within line of sight, then you can throw. Awesome. Alright. So, continue to Poor Doggy, page 12. There's no loot to gain. Yeah, so we restore and then we continue to Poor Doggy. So, back to Foreteller! This is a Foreteller day. So, Poor Doggy, which is this. Yep, Poor Doggy. Spelled differently.
Poor doggy. Remy sighed, forced herself to look at the slain Gavaden. I don't suppose anyone has a shovel. I feel like we should bury it. She couldn't help her wings from drooping a little, no matter how excited the rest of her friends were at their victory. Nightingale rose from where she'd been rinsing her hands in the dark water. I don't think you can dig a grave in a stone floor. I guess, Remy said. I suppose it just reminds me of a dog from back on Earth. I used to have pets back before I came to Middara. Remy turned to follow the group as they left. Yeah? Dogs or cats? Zeke asked, but he kept talking before she could answer him. Cats, right? Yeah, actually. How'd you know? Remy said, surprised. You look like a cat person. I bet you had a dozen, Zeke said, poking her in the shoulder playfully. Remy wasn't sure if he was making fun of her or not, but she replied seriously. Only one, actually. Zeke laughed and lit a cigarette.
Okay. And then that says continue to the second night, page 13. So we're going to the second night. This is awesome. I love this game. This is awesome. So the second night.
The second night. Tonight they had chosen a much smaller chamber off of what they took for the main passageway. It was far smaller than the room they'd chosen the night before, but it only had one entrance, so at least it would be easy to keep watch. Nightingale was put on scouting duty this time. It was nice to have something mindless to do. It was like all the housekeeping she'd done back in her family's little motel on Earth, rocking from room to room with an MP3 player. Pity she hadn't been able to bring it when she had come to Middara. Nightingale happened to be passing by the entrance of a nearby chamber when she caught a flicker of light from beyond the passageway. "Hold on!" she said out loud to herself, waved, and stepped out into the central hallway. Like much of the rest of the cave, this shaft was square with faded geometric patterns cut into the floor and walls. She grinned, drawing her weapon. The light was growing quickly, down from a direction they hadn't explored yet. Nightingale gripped her weapon tightly, preparing for a fight. Another few seconds and the light and footsteps resolved into a man, stooped with the weight of a heavy-looking sack. The man's armor was tattered, and he looked like he had just gone through a fight. In the faint light of his glowstone, the thin man looked triumphant. "Oh!" She lowered the weapon, striding casually into the hallway in front of him. "Thought you were a monster." "Nah," the man said, pointing back the way he'd come. "Our group just killed a tomb guardian back there. The thing was loaded with too much loot for us all to carry." He gave her a smug smile and continued. "This is my second trip, actually. Looks like we are doing better than the royalty is." Nightingale's smile faded. "Oh, yeah?" she said, considering her options.
You probably heard double on that. Zeke needs to buy some team patches. Okay, so we got some options. And if you heard the feedback on that, I'm sorry, I forgot to mute myself. We got some options. We ran into somebody else taking the test, and they defeated the Tomb Guardian. Our first option: extort the man for his extra loot. He was rude, and he also doesn't need it. So I can do that, or let the man pass unharassed. After all, he earned it. I'm not evil. Plus, nah. Buell, I did read what you were saying. I have to proclaim dodge before I roll anything. I got you. I got you. Okay, so I'm gonna let him pass unharassed because I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. All right, so I'm gonna do step aside, which is page. Step aside, which is this. We're gonna do step aside. I'll make sure I mute myself this time so you don't get feedback.
Step aside. Nightingale figured she couldn't just take his stuff. The man shoved his way past her, causing her to stumble. "The swag's mine," he said with a haughty laugh. Nightingale didn't argue, glaring at his retreating back. It wasn't as though they were supposed to fight the other teams for loot. She grunted, then made her way back to camp.
Okay. So our reward is the party gains 5 points on their mass grade. Woohoo! So 5 points on our mass grade. So that goes from 11 because I was counting it up. Is 3 cave sickles, which is 2 apiece, 2, 4, 6, plus 5 for that, which was 11. And because I didn't rob him, I got 5 extra points on my mass grade. Ooh, that's taking us to a 16 for day 2. I'm not going to read what the other one was because I'll leave that for you to discover should you get the game. But we did step aside. And then we go to sleep tight. And this one is a longer one. So here we go. Sleep tight. Sleep tight is 9 minutes. 9 minutes. Okay. So here we go. Enjoy the ride.
Sleep tight. The little room heated much better than the vast chamber from the night before, and soon enough they were all toasty around the fire. The conversation was less subdued than it had been the night before. Everyone looked significantly more tired. "I'm not really sure what I'll do when I graduate," Rook was saying. "I mean, I couldn't just go back to the farm after spending all this time at the institute." "What? You don't like farming?" A little cloud floated around Zeke, mingling with the smoke from the fire. He hadn't put down his cigarette since finishing his meal. Rook shrugged. "Nothing wrong with farming. My parents are good people and they do important work, but..." He paused. "We're not getting older anymore. And I'm no Cincinnatus. I think if I had to stay on a farm for eternity, I'd go insane. My idea of Elysium is a little less pastoral and more actually doing something." Nightingale chuckled and nodded, even though she had no idea who Cincinnatus was. "Well, I've got a suggestion," she grinned, resting one hand on the weapon at her side. "When I graduate, I'm going to join the Demiurge. You know, Elenia's special forces. Every day's an adventure after that. Why don't you join too?" Her smile widened. "I've got a friend who's already in. I'm sure he could put in a good word for you, with the way you fight." "We'll see," Rook said dismissively. "My parents are expecting me to help out on the farm." "Farming is so lame," Nightingale said, tossing her legs up onto a nearby rock. "We all have our roles," Rook said flatly. There were a few moments of silence then, as each waited for the others to speak. Nightingale turned slowly to look at Remy. "What about you? What are you going to do with your shiny new citizenship? You're the only one without familial expectations, right?" Remy looked away, shifting uncomfortably. I don't really know." They waited, but Remy didn't elaborate. "We shouldn't give up adventuring after this." Nightingale tried to look as reassuring as she could. "If we're here, we might as well enjoy Middara's advantages. We could live forever exploring ancient ruins, rescuing artifacts of unimaginable power, saving the world." Zeke looked doubtful. "Can't live forever if you get eaten by monsters." "Like that would happen." Nightingale raised her twig-like arms and flexed. "Have you seen these guns?" "Yeah, we'll see." Zeke rolled his eyes. "There's still one more day left in the mast. Plenty of time to find something big and hungry enough. They'd probably have to eat 5 of you to fill up, though." "Or one rook," Nightingale smiled. Rest came easier the second night, though Nightingale awoke a little sore from all the walking and fighting. They didn't stay long. Another breakfast of trail rations, and it was back to the cave for their last day of the mast. It was a little annoying how their travel distance each day was restricted, bookended with impassable hallways and convenient campsites. Even less faithful to adventuring was the regular presence of the bellicose cubes. Nightingale doubted very much that she would ever see one in any of Elenia's ruins. She couldn't wait for the next fight, but there was no bellicose cube as they proceeded. Confused, Nightingale glanced around the cavernous chamber. "That's strange." Nightingale kept walking forward. "I don't see a bellicose cube. You think we're almost done? I was really hoping to fight a couple more monsters before we finished." "That shouldn't be the case," Rook replied. "They didn't want any of us to get seriously hurt." Nightingale skipped further into the darkness. If Rook was right, there had to be another bellicose cube nearby. Behind her, Rook stooped and studied the ruined remains of a silver basin. He scowled and looked back up. "We'd better be careful. It looks like something happened to the cube. I doubt that the proctors would have intended this to happen." As he said this, Nightingale screamed. Rook spun around to see her being charged by a huge stone monster. It hit Nightingale with a boulder-like fist, sending her sprawling near a treacherous gap in the cavern's floor. The creature advanced on her, threatening to crush her beneath its massive weight. Nightingale held her weapon up in a vain attempt to block it, but it was futile. "Nightingale!" Rook yelled as he darted across the room, his huge frame pounding with desperate fury as he rammed into the creature. He knocked it aside moments before its massive stone arms came down on Nightingale. Rook pulled at Nightingale's shirt, yanking her to her feet as the monster began to rise again. "Run! We can't fight this without a bellicose cube!" Rook turned and the group sprinted into darkness. Eventually they came to a stop, panting heavily and hoping they were safe. "Oh boy," Nightingale said, shaking her hands to wash away the adrenaline coursing through her. "That was exhilarating." "Exhilarating?" Remy caught up to them nearby, recuperating from the sprint. "You almost got turned into a Nightingale pancake." Nightingale nodded and looked back the way they had run from. "What was that thing anyway?" "I think it was an Earth Loa. It was either not supposed to be here, or perhaps they planned on us having that bellicose cube intact. In either case, we're okay now, Rook grumbled. Nightingale burst out laughing and turned to Rook. You just saved a princess in distress! So cliché! I guess I did, Rook said, smiling. I'm glad you're all right. Thanks to you. Nightingale walked up beside him and her hand shook a little as she slapped him on the back. I should have noticed that wasn't just a pile of rocks. Rook relaxed. No big deal. That's why you never adventure alone, right? Nightingale smelled tobacco a few seconds before Zeke stepped up behind her and gave her a look of relief. Good work. Let's make sure nothing like that happens again, though. Nightingale nodded and the group made their way back into the dark. They continued on for what felt like hours. Nightingale purposely stayed at the front, determined to prove she wasn't afraid, even after the close call with the Earth Loa. Eventually she heard something strange coming from up ahead. Hey, I hear voices! Nightingale couldn't keep her tail from swinging about behind her in excitement as she skipped forward. Remy kept up, her weapon held close. You think we made it to the end? Rook's voice came from behind her, sounding matter-of-fact. Not yet. That isn't how the mast works. Every team has got to go through the gauntlet, and we haven't seen it yet. Oh, she blushed, wings drooping as she slowed a little, falling behind the rest of the team. The room was quite large, at least 50 feet across. Other teams milled about in nervous-looking groups, keeping mostly to themselves. Zeke pointed towards the front of the room where a group of uniformed proctors waited by the door. Let's see what's up, he muttered, striding purposefully towards the front of the room. Some of the other students looked like they'd done worse than their team had. There were lots of little wounds and hasty bandages, but also breaks and untreated gashes and tears. One young man kept himself standing only with the aid of a makeshift splint and walking stick, while another group had one of its members resting between them badly wounded. Guess we did pretty okay after all, Nightingale found herself thinking, following just behind Zeke. The men standing by the door all nodded respectfully to them. Lord Zhang, Princess Arson, a spindly proctor with white hair stepped forward to address them. Glad you made it. What's going on? Zeke gestured behind them at the crowd. The proctor lowered his head deferentially. You've reached the gauntlet, the last stage of the mast. Each team must survive a game section of the dungeon, so you're sent through one at a time. If you'd like your team moved ahead in the queue... No! Zeke and Nightingale answered together in the same exasperated tone. Zeke was the one who continued. We'll wait our turn with everyone else. As you wish, my lord. We'll call for you when it's time. They left without another word, quickly finding Rook through the crowd. You were right, Zeke grumbled. It's the gauntlet. Rook nodded, satisfied. It was in the study guide. What exactly is a gauntlet? I guess they don't expect us all to share a glove, Remy asked, chuckling to herself. Nobody laughed, though it was Rook who answered. It's different for every graduating class, so it's hard to be sure. It's the thing they wanted us to be prepared for most, in case some of the groups are really clever or lucky. The gauntlet is the same for everyone, so every graduate will be ready for... He shrugged. Whatever. It's usually the hardest part. After what we've been through? Nightingale gave Remy an encouraging pat. I'm sure it'll be nothing. We've got this. 2 years of lectures, 2 years of weapons practice and learning magic. She looked up as the heavy oak door opened and another team was ushered inside. That's our ticket to the outside world, to citizenship, to the demiurge, she muttered to herself privately. Eventually, the white-haired proctor approached them. If you're ready, he said, his voice as deferential as before. It's time. The crowd was mostly gone, leaving only the most injured groups behind. We're ready, Nightingale answered before any of the others could object. Let's do this!
It's a long one, I know. I know that was a long one, but we got through Sleep Tight, and next up is the Gauntlet. And that will be our next one that we do. That will be the one that we do the next time we play. How long were you planning on streaming? This is it. I'm done. I'm done, Beal. I'm done. This is all I got. The Gauntlet. I plan to stream Middara again tomorrow. At 5. So we'll be going through the Gauntlet tomorrow. I wasn't going to be going through much more, but we'll go through probably the Gauntlet 1, maybe the Gauntlet 2 while we're at it, and see where that goes. But this is what we're going to be doing next. We left off on page 16. so we'll be on the gauntlet when we start back. There's no XP that we got, but we got 42 gold. We're at I got 28 points for Mass 1, 16 points for Mass 2, which is full marks for total of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 44 points. So our total Mass score is 44 points. Yeah, I'm not doing the gauntlet today. So, and because I was listening to what you were saying, you're playing on overlapping Robin Bell, are you? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be playing. I'm trying to do one or two only because this weekend I won't be streaming at all because I'm gonna be out of town. So I'm kind of making up for lost time. So there may be overlap between me and Rob and Mel. They might zoom ahead of me. They play games daily. Um, I can't do that. So I will this week I'll be playing a lot. But yeah, I'm playing again tomorrow. I shouldn't overlap with them because I think they're starting at noon and I'm starting at 5. So I should not overlap them whatsoever. They have 5 hours of stream time before I even remotely begin. So I don't believe I'm gonna overlap them at all, Beal. I want to respect that because I can't watch what they're doing because then it's spoilers for both of us and vice versa. But I'm trying to make sure that I respect that and I don't overlap them at all. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I shouldn't be overlapping them. So we're gonna stop here today. Be done because this is a lot. But tomorrow we're gonna do the Gauntlet Chamber 1, and if we finish it in a decent time, we'll do the Gauntlet Chamber 2 as well tomorrow because I want to do as much as I can before I go on my trip. So when I come back, I can take it a little bit easier. But I want to get a good move, and I'm enjoying this so much right now. I think this is a lot of fun. This is an amazing thing. Okay. What I did while that was happening was the utility core for Zeke happened, so I drew throwing knives and put them into our bag. And I pulled out of the bag for Remy, and I gave her the smoke bomb that I drew from before. Yeah, Middara Day tomorrow. It pretty much will be. So that's all good. I'm gonna leave this just like this on the table. I'm not moving anything because tomorrow I'll be playing. I'm not touching any of this stuff. It's gonna stay here. I'll reset up the board for the gauntlet tomorrow, but that's about it. Um, that it's 4 tiles is making me happy that it hasn't spanned out into the Gloomhaven craziness of Tetris that I have to play, which is awesome. Okay, cool. This magnifying glass is awesome. I'm gonna let everyone know if you have a hard time reading this text because it's green, not blue. This magnifying glass is amazing. It works so well. It works really well. So I highly recommend you do this. You can buy this for $5 on Amazon. $5, maybe less in your area. But get it on Amazon. It works. It is fantastic. It is great. Um, yeah, that's all I really got. Let's go up and have a chat so we can talk about the crazy week, and then I'll let you go and do whatever you're doing. So, Middara, narrated by Foreteller. Since Remy doesn't cause break attacks, I'd give it to Zeke for Rook. Okay, I'll switch stuff around. I'll switch stuff around, Tiny. That's some really great advice. What are you using for storage? My storage solution. Let me go back to the table. My storage solution is I got it from Etsy. They came with these for this, so that's how these are stored. The dice. I am a FOMO person. I'm sorry, I am. I bought the special dice too that came with it, which are these. These are the special dice that came with it. So these are the special Middara dice that came with the reprint. So I got those, and this is where all the dice fit. So I just pour them in there and take them out to make them fit. But all the dice fit in there for what you need to close up the box, plus the dice that comes with the game. I actually prefer the dice that comes with the game, but whoever got those extra dice can see. I got it from. Let's go. I'll show you. I'll show you where I got it from. Actually, let me see here. Let me pull it up so you can see the story. Dara. And I will share my screen. This is this is the one I have. So it fits. It's basically here. I got it from Etsy. Comes from the Ukraine. It is a pricey one to go to, but I got it with a little bit of discount because I was like, "Hey, I'm a streamer," type of thing. So the Middara organizer box, this came with it. It's got some really great reviews, 5 stars from 136 shop reviews that came through. This is how things fit in. So you basically build these side cores, and then you put the minis at the bottom. Then you have the stack area for these cards, and all these cards fit, including the cards that come with the don't open packs. All of that fits in there. You can put your dice in these side ones if you want to, if you have the extra. If you don't, you can put them in the dice box and put the chips and those in the side. So I do them a little bit both ways, but you could do that. This is how it looks when the box is closed. Oh yeah, thanks, Tiny. Thank you so much for helping me out. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, it does make the box extra heavy, Hans. You're exactly right. Thank you so, Tiny. You are awesome. Thank you so much for helping me today. Yeah. This is where the cards sit, and they fit sleeved. If you sleeve the cards, they all fit in this. They all fit perfectly. The tokens fit in there. The dice stuff fit in there, and then the tiles themselves fit in these slots. And what ends up coming of it, let me see if it'll go back to the top, is it all fits on here. And this space that's in the middle that looks like it's sunken, that's for the book and all the other materials, and then the box closes. And everything fits. Yeah, so you can sleeve all your cards and it'll all fit right there just fine. And it's perfect. Yeah, so it's on Etsy. That's where I bought mine from because Broken Token is probably going to be more expensive than that, and that's $80 because Gloomhaven was like 100. So I went with that. It was a solution that I could use now instead of having stuff all over the place, and it works just fine for me. Okay, thank you, Tiny. Thank you, Buell. Thank you, everyone who joined. I appreciate you so much for helping me out. There's a lot of rules here. This is the thing that people call fiddly. There's a lot of rules here, so there's a lot of rules to keep track of. It's okay. You have the community who is amazing, as you can see, Buell and Tiny and Hans and everyone else who was like, "Hey, you might have forgotten this thing." Said we're all here to help each other, which is fantastic and why I love the gaming community. So we're good. We're really really good. It was a fun playthrough. I will be playing tomorrow. I will be playing this tomorrow. Veil Wraith, the finale of the base game. I'll be playing Tuesday, Wednesday Middara, Thursday if Pac-Man and Exositis are feeling well because I've been pushing it out and out and out. But if they're feeling well, I'll be doing Curse of the Rogueru with them, and then poof, I am gone for the weekend, and I will be back next week with more Middara. I plan to play this a lot because this is a lot of content. I want to get through it all, and it's going to be a lot of fun as we go. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, all of you, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, the usual spiel to get those likes, if you like what you saw. If I made any mistakes, put those in the comments because I want people who come and will look at this to look at the comments and say, "Oh, he made a mistake here, and that's normal, but now I know how to correct this." You're keeping me honest, keeping people who are going to play later informed of what's going on. I don't mind. I love it when people point out stuff that I do wrong so I can make it better and fix it. So make sure if you see anything I did wrong, put it in the comments below. Yeah. And that's what I really got. So I will see y'all tomorrow at 5 when I play some more Middara. Enjoy your 4th of July, my US YouTube viewers and friends. And everyone else, I will see you when we get back tomorrow for more Middara. Other than that, insert comment here. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.